Yeah.
And we are back on the Pizza Podcast. We got Rob Cervoni of Taglio Pizza in Long Island, New York.
Yes.
There's like a city that goes along with that. I always forget like the city.
Mineola.
Long Island.
Long Island.
There you go. Like I always consider Long Island just one place, like that's separated by like, you got the North Fork, the South Fork, Suffolk County, and then like the rest is just Long Island. I don't care where you are.
Yep. So look, I'm in Mineola. I have a first Roman style pizzeria on Long Island. So I decided to go to Mineola because it was up and coming. They're redoing the train station. They were building all these high-rise rentals in the area. So that's kind of, and I grew up there. I was actually, what's awesome is I grew up in Great Neck. You know where Great Neck is?
Sort of, kind of,
okay.
Not really.
So Great Neck right now is super Persian, Jewish, Asian.
Okay.
I was one of very few Italian kids in my high school.
Really?
So the fact that, even in this pizza world, out of control.
Huh. That actually, like what you were just describing, when I was a kid, I don't know, when I was like 10 years old, my father lived in Edison, and my stepbrothers went to school in Edison, and it was 100% like Indian Patels, everything, like
My high school was all Jewish and Asian. But
it used to be Italian, that whole neighborhood.
No,
not really?
not that I know.
That's just where
so
you happen to grow up.
So Great Neck's right on the border of Queens. So my grandfather, who immigrated here from I don't know what year it was, came here. All the Italians kind of moved to Jamaica, Queens. And then as they made a little money, they moved into Little Neck.
Right.
And then some went to Little Neck, some went to Elmont or Franklin Square.
Yeah, Franklin Square is
Franklin Square is huge.
Today.
So that's kind of
how it went down. It's funny. We've done a lot of these podcasts. We've done them with like some guys that are like a lot older than us. And like they describe like a very similar thing to what you said. It's just like they're talking about different neighborhoods because it's like from like kind of before we were born. So it was like it
just went step by step.
Whether you were from like Little Italy or Bensonhurst or let's say you were from Little Italy or like Bushwick or Williamsburg, then you would move to like Bensonhurst or Ozone Park or Howard Beach. You would get a little bit bigger of a yard. And then after that, you would like move out to, Long Island
Howard
somewhere.
Beach, they go to South Shore, Long Island.
And then a different part of it, they go out to Staten Island and New Jersey, and everybody just starts fanning out everywhere. Now you got fucking vowels on people's last names, like in fucking Arizona everywhere. That, they don't even know what they go like. Yeah, we're Italian.
There's some spots of Long Island that are super Italian. I'm actually moving to the Franklin Square area because that's where all my family is from.
Oh, really?
And they're living there. Yeah. So I wanted to raise my son in a predominantly more Italian neighborhood, opposite of look. I had a great childhood growing up. So basically, my grandfather lived in Little Neck, and then if you had a little bit more money than that, you went to Great Neck.
Right.
And then you slowly kind of moved up the North Shore or whatever. So that's why I was in my dad was in the stock market, stock brokerage industry. So he was a CFO. So, he had some coin. And so he moved to Great Neck. And I was like a fish out of water over there. Just culturally, my friends, I went to over 100 bar mitzvahs. like crazy, and it was just like when you give the booster, it's like there's all these different.
Do they have a boost?
They do, but it's a different amount of money. It's like $36 or.
Oh, it's not like $200.
No, but and that's what I would do. I had to be like, all right, so here's your envelope, $100, or it was bad luck to give that certain. I'm not sure what the number was. Yeah, but it's like $36 or
it's looked down upon. You give more,
and it's like you got to give $62. It's not like a round number.
Nah.
So I was a little kid. I was 14 years old.
I never even heard about
my
this.
father.
This is like now I want to look this up.
Yeah, it's got to be. I don't know if your boy over here could look it up, but. when my father would give me the money to go to these bar mitzvahs, I was 13 years old. I said, I need a gift. All right, here's $200. Put it in the envelope and go. One of my friends was like, it's bad luck. You put $200 in the envelope. I was like, I said, I probably gave him more than everybody else here.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So one of the things that's like that I've been really interested in the past like 5 years is the I mean, you got the abusto for the wedding, but the abusta for the funeral is something that like not everywhere.
That's
like,
something new because
54 and 108.
Yeah, $54.
54 and 108. What is that
That's
about?
just a-
Can you pull that up on the screen?
Yeah.
54 is minimum that you should get. So when I was 14, I think it was in the like 30s or something.
Wait, but
like
are
that. It was
those two
stupid, some
numbers
low
like
number.
significant? Is it like it has to be 54? Or could it be 56?
So that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, the mesh isn't set up right now. I gotta.
What? Look,
I don't know.
whatever it is, it's some weird tradition.
Oh, I'm interested. I'm interested. No, the funeral thing is an old thing.
Is it?
It's a really old
recently
thing.
encountered
You probably
that.
Fusco. We got DJ.
Yeah, we got DJ Fusco
over
here. He's in the
He's sitting in
background.
the background.
Yeah, we didn't have another mic.
Fusco seems like a guy who's been to a lot of funerals with and without a bustas.
No, I was laughing because he said that he's been to 100 bar mitzvahs.
Over 100 bar mitzvahs. Guaranteed over 100 bar mitzvahs.
100 bar mitzvahs at least.
Oh, you've DJ'd 100
Yeah.
bar mitzvahs. Yeah, I've been to them as guests.
Do you speak Italian?
No.
No. Fusco
I just-
does though, right?
He does.
See, that's what it is. When you run into the fucking Ometegans like us,
Yeah.
like because Fusco's also fucking
Yeah.
basically Ometegan, like
Dude,
he's Ometegan 100%.
Dude, honestly, it wasn't. It was the way my father raised me.
Yeah.
My dad was in this stock brokerage world,
right.
but his family, his surrounding family members all spoke Italian. And I was always a little bit kind of like jealous of that because it was like he was trying to mold me into this corporate America stock brokerage, go to this Jewish neighborhood. All your friends are their fathers are doctors and lawyers and my father's in the stockbroker industry. And then all my cousins and all them are in construction or restaurant business, and I kind of strayed away from that mold.
Right. Well, he was probably doing that. I mean,
He was
it
doing that for my
almost
best interest.
It almost makes perfect sense because if you go back to when he was growing up, like that situation he created for you is like just a winning ticket
Absolutely.
in life.
No, absolutely.
Now in today's day and age, does that compute into the same thing? I don't know. Maybe not
Probably
exactly.
not. I went to college. I did the whole thing. And
Did you go to college?
I
Where'd
did.
you go?
I did. I went to Lynn University. I wasn't this stellar student. There was a lot of pressure on me.
Where'd you go to school?
So I went to school for business management and economics.
No, man.
And honestly, I had no idea what I wanted to do. And then as I was going through, I was going to take the Series 7 to go into the stock brokerage industry.
I know some fucking kids I grew up with that fucking did that
Yeah.
for like without even high school diplomas and made millions of dollars.
Definitely. And to be honest with you, my father talked me out of it.
Okay.
He's like, listen, this in the 90s, we all made tons of money. It was like that movie Wolf of Wall Street. All that stuff actually happened.
Right.
And now he was like, there's so much regulation and all this stuff. Do you really want to get in this? I don't see you sitting at a desk job. I don't see you sitting there doing a 9 to 5 and commuting to the city and sitting at a computer all day. Just not me. When I was in high school.
Wait. So what was he voting for? What was he pushing you towards?
He honestly didn't know either.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, I don't think
Well, that's
he.
not
I don't
very
think
much
he
help.
knew what. So I don't.
Don't do this, but I don't know what.
Yeah.
I don't know what you should do.
I think he always knew that I would somehow figure it out. I was always a little bit of a hustler. Always had figured out how to make money. Whether it was like all my friends didn't have jobs growing up. I was the only one that was working at a pizzeria.
Oh, you did work.
So
in pizzerias
yeah,
while you were good.
so my father, when he was growing up in Little Neck, there was a little town pizzeria. It used to be called Sebastian's. It was right off the LIE exit 32 on the LIE, and now it's called Center Pizza.
Okay.
So the same guys who own Center Pizza, I think they own some of the Geno's, like Geno's in New Hyde Park, Geno's in Port
I've heard
Washington.
about those. I heard those are like big deals.
Like
big
Geno's and
numbers.
Greatness. Some of the Geno's are all connected, but I know the first one was in Long Beach. That's for sure.
I forget which town it was in, but like I was in Long Island, a few months ago, and somebody that was related to them was telling me he was talking about a specific one of them, but it was like something like the numbers were like 80 or 90,000 a week.
I don't know if you would probably be more knowledgeable of this than me. Can anybody just open up a pizzeria and call it Geno's?
Yeah,
It's just
100%.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense because it's like.
Well,
I get
the
why
way
you're doing it.
The way trademark laws work is like it has to be a specific thing. So if I called a place Nino's, I wouldn't be able to trademark that
Because it's
But if I called something Barcade,
okay.
and somebody said, "Oh, I'm opening up Nino's Barcade," I could sue the shit out of that guy.
Okay.
It has to be
Yeah,
specific.
I just don't.
That being said, when you look at some of these old school places, like look at A&S, right?
Yeah.
That was a dude who was like, I think he was like fucking like half or a whole gangster in some way or another, who had these pork stores. Basically, like guys were working for them. They would build their families, want to do something. He would open them up like almost like franchises, but instead of being like an actual franchise, it would just be like the old man would come and collect an envelope on whatever they agreed to every fucking week. And that was like instead of like setting up a corporate franchise, it was like that. Then when the old man dies, everybody stops paying.
Yeah. There's got to be like major beef between all the Geno's guys, like the guys who don't know each
there
other.
probably is.
There's,
I mean,
there's
look
got to
at-
be like.
Isn't there beef
that would piss
between
me
like
off.
Umberto's and King Umberto's? There's like a little beef there, right?
I don't know that there's that much of a beef anymore. I think they kind of.
I don't think it's like beef where they like kill each other, baseball each other out.
Maybe the
but,
old
like,
guys back in the day, they used to. Everyone was so secretive and all this.
But
stuff.
they're not like happy with each other. They're not best friends.
You know.
I don't know. I don't know either.
I don't know.
I would just imagine.
I mean, they're both powerhouses. There's enough to go. Obviously, there's enough to go around in both those neighborhoods.
I agree
They're pretty
with
close
that.
to each other, but there's enough to go around.
I mean, when you're good, and there's different like levels on how you can be good. Like I know places that do tremendous numbers that like they have a garbage product, but if you order from them, they're there in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Well, they don't- I don't
100% of the time, doesn't matter what day or time of the week it is. Like
You know
they're
what-
doing it and they build a business off.
You know
of
what the
that.
crazy part about Umberto's and King Umberto's is? At this point, like, would you really consider them a pizzeria anymore? I mean, they got massive dining rooms and massive catering hall tents and all this stuff. It's insane.
Right.
Like, I think about just on my small scale of my pizzeria, just how much I'm paying staff and how much I'm paying insurance and rent and all this stuff. And I think about they must have 100 employees at any given time circulating. Like it's just crazy. I don't know how they run those operations.
I mean, first of all, you're going back to a time where it was a lot easier to expand because property values, rents, everything was a lot cheaper and like more approachable. So like you can see like, okay, this is doing real good. I can move into this, and you can like take over that thing. It's very accessible and approachable to buy buildings and this and that. I mean, me personally, I think the era of the independent pizzeria with a double deck 12 pie oven is over.
It's done. I was thinking about this. Well, actually, all week because I'm in a transitional period in my place right now. When I opened, I said to myself, "Okay, I'm going to do Roman style pizza." So let's go back a little bit first, right?
Yeah.
So let's go back to how I got my start. I came out of college. My father didn't know what I wanted to do. Okay, I didn't know what I wanted to do. My uncle and my whole family's in construction. My father said, "Okay, listen, go work with your uncle. He's going to teach you the business. No problem." I'm going over there, I'm making $600 a week. I'm a young kid. It wasn't me. You know what I mean? I started doing the construction. Basically, he buys houses for a low number, a knockdown house. They knock it down. They build new houses. And
you're working for him doing that?
so I was working for him, just trying to learn the business. And you know, I think
But what were you doing? Were you like framing out houses?
No,
What were you
I don't
doing?
even know. I think it was just like he was doing my dad a favor and just hiring me. It wasn't something that I like. I don't think he even knew what to do with me, and I think he kind of knew my head wasn't in it at that time. I was actually like, I was in college. I was DJing. I was DJing on the weekends. I was doing weddings and like being a roadie for a big DJ company and DJing at different house parties or block parties and then some nightclubs here and there. Never as big as DJ Fusco, but you know, I can still hold my own on the turntable.
DJ M. Fusco, shout out.
Yeah, DJ Fusco.
He's sponsoring this episode of the podcast
Yeah.
is sponsored by DJ M. Fusco.
Yeah.
Call for all your club bar
I was
mitzvah
really
needs.
into the DJ thing. I was doing that for a little bit, and then like I'm not like the biggest party. Like I don't like to go out and party, or it wasn't me either. So I was kind of just lost. I didn't know what to do. So then I just got a job at a gym. Because like I was just like I was signing people in at the gym in New York sports clubs. I literally was like, I don't know what to do right now.
How old are you at this point?
Oh man, I had just graduated college. I was working with my uncle.
22, 24?
20, 21. So I was really DJing, but in the middle of the day, I had nothing to do. So I went to get this gym membership, and this guy's like, "Yo, you want a job?" And he's like, "I'll give you a free gym membership." He's like, "We're desperate." I'm like, "Fuck it, yeah, I'll come in." I worked 1 day a week.
There you go.
For like 3 hours a day. I got a free membership and was DJing at night. So then after the whole DJ thing, I came across this franchise called 16 Handles. It's a frozen yogurt, self-serve frozen yogurt franchise. And my dad kind of knew like that I was looking for something like that. He thought the restaurant industry would be what I was best at, because when I worked at the pizzeria in Little Neck at Center Pizza, it was kind of what I enjoyed it. Like I enjoyed going there. I enjoyed meeting new people. I enjoyed
What were you doing at?
I started
your job.
So
while
I
you were
started
working
there.
on it?
So I started there as a busboy because actually my father worked in the same exact location that it used to be called Sebastian's. My father worked there growing
When
up
he
as
was
a
a
kid.
kid.
When he was a
Yeah,
kid,
yeah,
he
yeah.
worked there. So it was down the block from my grandparents' house. So he worked there, and then it just so happened that my godfather's somehow family friend bought it. The Geno's guys bought it and said my son's looking for a job, and so I worked there for a little while. I started out as a busboy, then they moved me to the counter. And then they made me the salad guy, and then they put me in the back, and then I went back to now I was waiting tables, and then it just.
So you
and then
learned
I just
how
ended
to like roll dough. You got like a feel for the kitchen a little bit.
kind of like those guys were in the basement rolling dough. I kind of was just a floater. I would do whatever they needed me to do that day, and then I ended up just on the counter, just serving slices and doing the register.
Right.
But it was something that like I always enjoyed being there. It wasn't work at that point. I didn't care what they really paid me. It was fun. Like the guy. There was two. There was a guy Joe who owned it, and this guy Paul. And Joey was the guy kind of worked the counter, but Paul was like he was able to cook in the back, and he would always go to the supermarket in the morning and buy stuff, and then at the end of the night he'd start cooking, and we would just hang out, and it was just a cool experience. And so that's kind of where I got my start in the pizza. Then after that, there's a whole gap in between that time of going to college and
all these
other
happen.
bullshit.
Yeah.
Then finally,
57 handle. What was it called?
16 handles. So
16
then
handles.
finally, my father comes up to me. He's like, "Hey, did you see this frozen yogurt thing that opened up? It's in Jericho. They got, because my dad lives in Old Westbury. He said they got lines down the block. He's like, why don't we look into doing something like this for you?"
Okay.
because I think you would be really good at this. You're good with people. My dad always says like I'm a used car salesman. I could sell anything. I could schmooze anybody, and I could talk you in circles and eventually sell you what I want to sell you.
Gift of the gab.
Yeah, gift of the gab. That's what it is, and you need that in the beach world. If you don't
100%.
have that, and that's we'll get into that later.
Oh.
But so I go there, I check this place out, I get online, I grab my cup, I fill up the ice cream cup, put my toppings on, put it on a scale. They weigh it on a scale, and I go, "Holy shit, that's $7." Now this was in I was 21 years old, 22 years old. This was 10 years ago, 11 years ago. So $7 for an ice cream back then was a lot, but this guy had lines out there because it was a whole experience, right?
Well, that was a big thing.
It was a big thing.
2011,
Yeah,
2012.
it was a huge fad, and
Huge
and
fad.
I was like, you know what? This seems really easy to run. You got 2 high school kids at the register, and I didn't know what they had in the back, but they had in the back. So we met with I called the company. I did all the research. You go have this franchisee meeting, right? And the CEO's there and the CFO, and all of a sudden in comes walking my dad, and they're like, "Oh, great, nice businessman." And then comes this 23-year-old kid, and they're like, "Oh, well, he's gonna run it?" My dad's like, "Yeah, he's gonna run it. I'm gonna have nothing to do with it. I'm gonna put up all the money. We're gonna build this thing, and he's gonna run the show." And at first they're like, you know, we have approval processes and this and that, and he's like, "No, he's gonna run it. He could do this. He worked in pizzerias. He could do it." Thinking back on it, the fact that my dad put up, I think it was like $400,000.
Really? That much?
That much, because those machines are like 20 grand a piece. It's crazy.
Oh yeah.
So it's
well, how was like the corporate setup of the franchise? Was it like a 6% of the growth?
so
or?
it was. I think it was. There was like a 2% marketing fee.
Okay.
Which they take that and it goes strictly
That's off of gross, not net.
off of gross.
Yeah.
So 2% marketing fee, which goes to like, I guess they pay a girl to do Instagram and Facebook and advertisements, and they develop new flavors and promotions and that kind of stuff.
Sure, it makes sense.
And then the rest, I think it was like 4%. So I think it was like 6% or
Total.
It's total, something like that.
The marketing thing makes sense because if you think about like even like I mean like you know, remember when like Sonics wasn't in New York, but you would see the commercials when you were a kid. That's because everybody.
That's basically
banged.
what that marketing.
Yeah.
Is. So like, Sonic has a huge network of locations, so they could afford to do commercials. Like our marketing fee went to like paying some girl to run an Instagram. You know what I mean?
They're probably looking at McDonald's and Wendy's and everything and saying like, this is the structure.
Yeah, they figure out the demographics. So anyway, so I was like, look, I definitely want to open this thing. Finally, they go, you know what? Let's give this kid a chance. Let's try it. Because, like I said, I had the gift of gab. I went to meetings with these guys. And the CEO's name is Solomon Choi. Great guy. And he started this thing in Manhattan, opened one location, and it was doing crazy numbers a year.
What kind of numbers?
I don't remember off the top of my head, but I think he was doing like $2 million. And
$2 million gross?
selling ice cream, dude.
Yeah.
Selling ice cream.
I mean, I don't know.
Frozen
I'm
yogurt.
not in the ice
so
cream
let's put it
business.
this way. I remember the cup would cost the actual cup that people would fill up would cost me like 10 cents an ounce or something like that.
Okay.
And we were selling it for like 52 cents an ounce. It was a crazy. I think it was maybe it was even 10 cents for the whole cup.
But what is your? Let me ask you a question. I'm interested in this. Well, I just did the math on 2 million. That's 38,000 a week. That's crazy,
dude. It was crazy. Like
really
I'm
good.
telling you, like the numbers were lucrative.
I worked on like weeks, like how I know in my head.
No,
but what I want to know is like, you know, he's doing these numbers. They're doing this thing, and like, but what is your rent percentage? What is your food cost percentage? Because like, okay, 6% gross,
dude,
I understand. But if you're like, if it's 6% gross, that's going to him.
Okay.
Plus, now it could be a 5% on the rent. It could be a 10%.
I'll tell
but
you.
But if it's 10, and then it's 30 here or 40 here, and then another 15 here, now all of a sudden, everything falls apart.
No. It was. I think food cost. I think we were running at like 15%.
Right.
It was crazy because what are you really buying, right? Gummy bears, sprinkles, chocolate chips, you know, nonsense bullshit toppings.
Right.
And then the you're buying a mix. It came from Dannon. I remember it was Dannon. It was called Yo Cream. Right, it was Dannon. It was a Dannon product,
You would
or
just throw that
it
in
was
the machine.
it was called Yo Cream, and then Dannon bought them, and so you would just have this machine. You pour this stuff in,
Yeah.
and it would freeze it, and you clean the machine once a week. So
Okay.
there was 8 machines. So every night you clean one
8
machine. I had 8
machines.
machines. Each machine had 2 flavors, and plus the mix thing.
What
So that's why they
the
called it 16 handles, because there were 16 flavors.
I mean, are these machines like the size of like the gelato machines?
Yeah,
where they're,
no,
like,
it's
this
it's
high?
like, you know, when you go into they were made by, they weren't Electro Freeze. They what the hell was the name? Taylor. They were Taylor frozen yogurt machines, and they're like big, and they have to be like water cooled,
Right.
And they're crazy machines, and
They're like very similar to like ice cream and gelato machines, correct?
Yeah,
It's the
they-
same shit.
yeah, very similar. So there's 2
Right.
companies that made. We used the Taylor machines. I had some kind of deal with them.
And you had to buy 8.
8 of them. 8 of them,
Why?
brand new. I think they were like 20 grand a piece, brand new.
maybe that
or
was
15, something like that.
Maybe that was just a part of like, okay, we got to make this as easy as possible.
It is.
So
Hey,
like,
look,
it takes 8.
you
'Cause
had-
I imagine you could do the same thing with 1 or 2.
No, because then you only get each machine was only 2 flavors, right? So it was called 16 handles. So it was 16 different flavors of frozen yogurt, and you basically pull the handle. That's why it was a play on words: 16 candles, 16 handles. So it was lucrative. So I opened this place I actually chose. They're like, "What location do you want to do?" I'm like, "Listen, I grew up in Great Neck. I know everybody there. Their product was mostly kosher. They had a lot of kosher locations. So I said, let me just do it there." Now, there was another place called 32 Degrees Frozen Yogurt that opened up on Great Neck Road, I remember. And I said, wow, this guy opened up in a really shitty location. He's not from this neighborhood. I've been here. Everything that opens up in that location goes out of business.
Wait, so this was a competitor.
So it was a competitor
Same
in this
exact thing you're doing.
Same exact thing I'm doing.
32 instead of 16.
No. It was 32 Degrees Frozen Yogurt.
Oh,
but he
yeah.
wasn't a franchise. He was just some guy that said, "I see
that
what's
the
going on
rolled?
here." No, it was the same exact thing
Same
as me.
exact thing.
Same exact thing. He was using the same exact yogurt, same everything, but wasn't a franchise.
Hmm.
And 16 Handles started in Manhattan. And when you start in Manhattan, that's when you get your jump off. Everything starts in Manhattan and then moves to the suburbs, right?
Yeah.
So he got so this guy just opened, and I'm like, Dad, I don't care what it is. I know this neighborhood. I know everybody here. I know the Jewish community. I'm in the Jewish community. I'm friends with all the people in the Persian community, right? So let's open it up on Middle Neck Road, right in the center of town. There's a Geno's in Great Neck, and it's like a powerhouse. So I opened like literally 1 block from there.
Right.
And I opened this thing in, I think it was December, exactly 10 years ago today. Not today, but 10 years ago. It was in December. I think it was
Right.
December 16th I opened. Because I remember we wanted to open on the 16th.
That's almost to that.
It was on the
been a couple
16th
days.
because it was 16 handles, yeah. So it was 10 years ago. So I opened the doors, and all of a sudden, I got lines down the block. Now I'm a 23-year-old kid managing 17-year-old kids, right? Doing 30 grand a week. Like it was crazy, selling ice cream. So I had all this money coming in. I had all this responsibility, and I was just like, this is crazy. I'm like, let's open up more locations. Let's do this. Let's do that. And my dad was like, yo, slow down. Let's see what happens with this. Because my dad was smart. He knew that this was a fad. He said, Rob, he sat me down. He's like, this is a pump and dump. He's like, this is one of those things where he's like, hopefully it could sustain, but let's just see what happens. As the years went on, it was one of those things where most businesses, when you open, you start off with like low numbers and you build them. This was one of those things where you started off hot, and maybe for like 3 years you kind of did the same numbers, and then it slowly just started to decline.
Yeah, it was like the same thing with like the cupcake fad.
Yeah.
There was a lot of these things over the past 10 or 20
exactly.
years.
So essentially, it was just
The rolled.
that
the-
came in
The
one real
rolled
quick.
ice cream. It was like you couldn't find it. There was one place with lines at the door,
Yeah.
and like, in like, I feel like it was like a 6-month period. All of a sudden,
Yeah.
30 companies popped up. they were everywhere, and nobody wanted to go to any of
Yeah,
them.
yeah. So it slowly started to decline. In the middle, my uncle, who I was doing the construction with, he opened up a location in Lynbrook. He's actually still open, and he's still doing good. My mistake was I got a 2,000 square foot space, and I put a big party room in the back, and I kind of like. When I did that, I used to do parties, and and my rent was crazy. Right now,
Where you're at?
my rent when I started was like $7,500 a month.
Okay.
I think when I sold it, right when I opened the pizzeria, I think I was at about $10,000 a month. It was crazy. You just
And what were your grosses like average in like the first 3 years?
I honestly don't remember. I couldn't.
You don't remember if it was 20K?
I couldn't even ballpark.
Not round numbers.
No, I couldn't even ballpark. But it was. I remember I took home the first year like $230,000 take home.
Oh, yeah.
So like,
Not a bad year.
yeah, it wasn't a bad year, and that was on. I opened in December. Yeah, so it was like my first full year. It was, dude. It was lucrative, and I was 23 years old, and I thought that the money would never stop, and I just was spending money like crazy. It was
Right.
just, whatever. So anyway, so I did that, and then I ended up selling the business. And as I saw the numbers decline, I started saying to myself, "I got to."
Well, how many did you get up to? Did you stick with just the one?
I ended up only opening one.
Okay.
My uncle opened one, and then I think we were like, maybe I was going to partner with him, but it just never really worked out. And then I was going to open more. I was going to buy the other location that we're doing, and I just saw the numbers keep declining, and I was like, I got to figure out what else I'm going to do. You know what I mean? So my partner in Taglio, I actually have a partner. He's my cousin. His name's Danny. He always would say to me, listen, I want to open up something like 16 handles. I want to do it. And I kept saying to him, look, 16 handles is the fad is kind of over. The locations are still doing it. Don't get me wrong. There's still locations open, and they're still doing well. They're not a... They're,
Sure, but the business of frozen yogurt in general, like what were the big guys?
I just don't want it to sound. I just don't want it to sound like I'm bashing them. Like
No, you're not bashing them.
Because they've been nothing but great to me. I love all the guys there. Like
Sure,
they were the
awesome.
best.
No, but it's not bashing them. It's just talking about like a real life thing where like it was like what was it not Red Robin but
Red Mango.
Red Mango.
Yeah.
There was like two other ones that were everywhere.
They expanded so fast, and I think that's what hurt them. They just opened too many and their business model was different. They served you the yogurt.
I think that's happening right now as well. It's been happening with the what is it, 800 Degrees at Blaze?
Yes,
and, these kind of like
These franchise
pizzerias that are
models.
trying to be like fast casual, and they're opening like 80 locations and going out. You know who's going out all over the place? Bear Burger. They're going out
that's
everywhere.
Funny. It's funny you say that. A Bear Burger opened up like 3 stores away from me in 16 handles, and it was another kid, this kid Dennis. He was like 23 or 24 years old when he opened too, and we became good friends. But I always liked Bear Burger. I
like it too.
I thought
but
that
it's like, when have you ever heard?
Well, the burger thing was a huge craze too.
But hear me out. When have you ever heard? Because the way that a lot of the Bear Burgers are set up, it's not as like fast casual as like a Five Guys or a Shake Shack. It's more like a sit down thing. And like, when have you ever heard somebody say like, "Hey, let's go to Bear Burger and sit down and eat"? Like, it's not something you would do.
Yeah, no, it's not. Especially so like I always look at these things. They come in like these fads. Ever since I was in that franchisee model, I'm always looking for the next thing. But now I'm scared now because they all become so. It went like frozen yogurt, then a burger fad came, and then after that, it was those Blaze pizzas and all that stuff came around.
Well, the burger thing's doing really well with the guys that I think like hit the mark to take it away from the big four burger franchises where like Shake Shack and Five Guys are still murdering it. In-N-Out's murdering
Five Guys
it.
not so much anymore. I remember when Five Guys came around, they were kind of like the first one where they started expanding. Now I think Shake Shack kind of is putting everybody to shame now. I mean,
Shake Shack's the number one, but like Five Guys, like I don't see them going out of business. I know guys that own multiple Five Guys, and they're I ask them all the time. Like, they've owned them for like 12 years, and I ask them
food is one of those things where people got to eat. You know what I mean?
You can walk into, you know what it is with Five Guys that's different from Bear Burger? it's like when you walk into a Bear Burger, it's almost a production. Like you're doing a whole thing. When you walk into Five Guys, it's like, yo, I want a burger, fries, and a soda, and I'm fucking out. Or I can hang out and fucking sit with friends and talk. But like, you could do either one. You really can't do that in like a Bear Burger. Like it's like a whole production. You can't walk in there like just you and just order something and not feel like kind of weird or kind of like you know.
So anyway, so going back to the 16 handle thing. So I ended up selling right before I opened the pizzeria. But before that, I met my wife, and she actually, her grandfather actually owns a bunch of sausage trailers, like sausage, like San Gennaro Fish, you know, the sausage trailers.
Oh, like Lucy's.
Kind of like Lucy's. Lucy's their like main competitor.
Yeah.
His is called Ned's, and he has like 5 trailers, and they would do all these festivals. They do San Gennaro. They work with Clearview events. They do all street fairs and stuff like that. So I actually was like, I think this will work for frozen yogurt. I built a 16 handles frozen yogurt truck, like a massive thing. Spent a ton of money on it. Everybody in their family was like, don't do it, don't do it. Everybody tries to do ice cream, don't do it, don't. I didn't listen to them. I did it, and ultimately, it failed. Big waste of money. I don't want to say it failed, but it was just a lot of work for what it was, for the income. It was every summer, weekends, doing it. Just, it was too much. So I did that. My cousin Danny was like, I want to open something. I said, listen, when I find the next thing that I want to do, I'm going to include you in it. In the meantime, he does the same thing my uncle does. He's building houses. What did I say? Everybody in my family builds houses. He said to me, look, why don't you build the houses with me, and we'll open up something when I find it. I said, okay, I'll lend you the money, or my father, and him.
You, after selling it and the run you had, you're flush with cash, so you're just like...
Well, yeah, that, and I spent a lot of my money, but I bought a house and all this stuff. But my father would lend us money to build these houses. I started getting back into that building thing. So now my main business right now is doing what I was going to do with my uncle. I ended up in that avenue, what my dad told me I was going to do. It's so weird how everything comes full circle. What do they say about guys who work in a pizzeria? Once you work in a pizzeria, that's it. You're a pizza lifer.
Right.
Everybody says that. The guys who, when I was working there, they would say to me, you're not going to be a pizza lifer because, you know, you're going to go to college and, you know, your dad does a stock brokerage thing. You're never going to do this. And then this other guy who owns the Geno's in Great Neck, I didn't really know him too well, and he came up to me. He's like, you're going to be a pizza lifer. I see it in you. You have it in you. The way you talk to people, the way you serve people, this is what you're going to be doing. And everything just came full circle. I went to Italy. I saw the Roman-style pizza. I was looking on Instagram, and I saw the Roman-style pizza started being posted. And I said, well, what if I just do my own thing? I was looking for another franchise to ride the coattails of and then pump and dump.
Right. What's the next thing?
So
wait, hold up. I'm going to stop you right there. We got to hear from our sponsors real quick, but we're going to pick up right where we left off. We'll be right back.
Yes.
Yeah, God.
Go.
All right, so we are back, and we just went to a bodega. We saw the, we introduced Rob to like what's going on in Bushwick a little bit.
We on the block.
We got some ice cold beers. We got some beers going. But what we were talking about was where we left off was how did you get into the Pizza Al Taglio? Like you were talking about. You saw it as the next thing.
Yeah.
And
so I saw it as the next thing.
Pump and dump.
Look, no, I didn't say it. I was looking for another pump and dump because I thought that'd be the easiest thing.
But you ran into Roman style pizza.
Yeah.
So like,
right.
Let's go over in detail how that happened. I believe you said you went to Italy.
Okay. So I would go to Italy here and there, and I would see those little like markets where you get the little prosciutto sandwich or the little mortadella panini. And
where's this in
Italy? In Rome, and where all my family's from is from Frosinone, right? And we're from Bovilla. It's like an hour south of Rome, like in between Naples and Rome, up in the mountains a little bit. So,
but still in Lazio.
In Lazio, yeah. So
Lazio, for those who don't know, is the Providence where Rome is.
yeah.
Campania is the Providence where Napoli
Yes,
is.
still in Lazio. So, it's weird because I always knew I had a passion for pizza. I liked making it. I liked studying it. But I never saw myself really opening my own place. Especially not, I didn't want to do your typical Long Island pizzeria with the full kitchen and the full slice counter and the delivery and the slices. And I thought that was kind of just one of those things that there's so many of them. Like, why am I going to go do the same exact thing? Right.
Sure,
So
I can see that.
it wasn't what I wanted to do. So fast forward, go back a little bit, and you say, I called my cousin. I said, listen, I got a crazy idea. You want to open up a pizzeria? And he like almost hung up the phone on me. He's like,
Really?
dude, I told you I wanted to do something like a 16 handles, something easy, something like a franchise type of thing where we could get in and it just runs smoothly and I don't got to
Right.
worry about it. I'm like, well, look, I'm not asking you to open up a pizzeria with, like every other mom and pop pizzeria. I'm not asking you to do a Geno's. Have you ever heard of Roman style pizza? No, not really. I sent him some videos. I sent him some pictures. I said, look, what if we did something like this? Keep it super authentic, and put it in an area that is kind of like heavy walking traffic, train station, and
Wait, so you already, at like this point that you're talking about,
At this
you
point-
already know about Roman style pizza
So-
intimately or no?
Not really. Look,
Okay.
I tried to do it at home. I watched some videos on YouTube and
But where'd you get introduced to it?
in Italy and Instagram and YouTube, and I think Anthony Bourdain. Honestly, there was a thing where he did Gabriele Bonci with the Roman style pizza.
Okay.
So and I think it was.
But did you I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, did you already try the authentic version of
Yes,
that
yeah.
product?
In Lazio, in Frosinone, in Rome, they're everywhere. Like these places are it's really not a Roman style pizzeria. It's almost like a bakery, or like where you would get your coffee in the morning. Then at lunchtime they would roll out these little paninis or this little bread with just tomato sauce on it or the potato rosemary, and you could get it and go. It was like it was one of those things. I'm like, this is so good. Why isn't there
Well, I was
something
talking
like
to
this?
the reason why I bring that up, I was talking to I mean, you're bringing up something different that I like to go into, that it's like, I was talking to from Francesco from Modernist Cuisine to Fred from Orlando Foods, where we were kind of discussing, like, where did this like Pizza Italia come from? It seems like something that wasn't around until like the 1960s even. It's like almost like a newer thing.
I don't
in general.
I'll be honest with you. I don't really know the history of it,
Okay.
of how it developed, where it developed, and that kind of thing. And I don't think anybody really does know the true story. I think if we dig it
I
out, we
haven't
can find it.
dug deep into it.
I don't think anyone
I'm sure
cares
there's
to
a
dig
way. Yeah, I get that. I mean, that being said, though, I mean, there's no fucking question in my mind that once you bite into a true authentic Pizza Italio, there's no way you can't fall in love with it.
No.
It's just such an
unbelievable.
amazing, fucking unbelievable product.
It's unbelievable. It's an unbelievable product. It's very difficult to manage the dough. It's very difficult to perfect. Basically, learning it and coming. I had to mold Roman style pizza to some sort, like, kind of a New York model.
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
It does.
So I noticed that when I opened my place, there was a bunch of Roman style places that had just opened. So the person who trained me was Massimiliano Savea. He used to work for Monzo Foods, and they have they import the Pacelli, Pacelli flour.
The Pacelli flour. Yeah.
So they had I believe the story is, the guys from Monzo, Massimiliano opened up a place in Miami just on his own. And then they just happened to be walking around. I could be wrong. They just happened to be walking around one day, and they walked in there and said, "Yo,
How
this
old
pizza."
is this guy, Massimiliano?
He's in his 40s, I think.
So he's a younger guy. Doesn't even like an older guy who's like his master.
So Angelo Yatesy.
Yeah,
Angelo
Angelo,
Yatesy.
yeah, yeah.
So Angelo Yatesy, I think, trained the guys from like PQR, and he trained. He's like one of the godfathers of Roman style
Right.
pizza, and he
Yeah.
trained a lot of guys. And he works with the Yaconi flour. So I don't really know. I met him once. I don't really know him, but I know Massimiliano was trained by him.
What's going on with him now? I know he was like, wasn't he stuck in Spain? Is that the same guy?
The story's so complicated. So I guess him and Monzo Foods, him and Monzo Foods had some sort of a falling out. I don't really know the true story, and honestly, it's none of my business to tell it.
Of course.
Yeah, he ended up just saying to himself, he was in Miami, and he ended up moving with his wife back to Spain. I think his wife is from Spain, or they have some sort of connection to Spain, and he decided to branch out and open up his own consulting school. But that's who trained me, and it was the Roman Pizza Academy that I learned from, and he came to my pizzeria for about a week, and then I had him come back for another week, and we became great friends, and I became somewhat of some sort of like almost his protege.
So what was like going back? Like I kind of know where you're at now, but going back to like when you started, like were you or were you not looking like at this thing like this could be?
I looked at it. You're saying as it could blow up.
It could be a franchise. It could be something
exactly.
that
That's what I was just about to say.
16 handles.
So I was
Yeah.
looking basically to create my own franchise.
Your own
With this,
16
with
handles.
my own thing. I was going to keep it super
out of
simple.
Roman pizza.
Out of Roman pizza. Not knowing how difficult it was to do Roman pizza at scale. It would be impossible to franchise Roman style pizza. I think Banci's trying to do it, and they're opening multiple locations. It's just too skilled of a craft
Right.
that there's not many people that in the United States that even do it. I mean, Massimo trains people, hundreds and hundreds of people, and only a handful of them ever end up implementing it into their existing pizzeria, because I think they want to learn it, but once they learn it, they're like, I'm not doing this. It's just too complicated. I got to ferment this dough for 4 days, sometimes 96 hours. I got to keep it temperature controlled. It's just people don't have the setup for it, and then like most people, equipment's an issue, and they think that they could do it with a Hobart, but you need a spiral mixer, you need an electric oven. It's its own thing, and it's the closest thing I think to bread making that than anything else. You know?
Right. Yeah, no, definitely.
I mean, you're more educated on that stuff than me. You're a wizard with that. So I don't want to get into the specifics of science of it, but yeah. So he trained me, and then
what was that training like, though? What could you like describe it anyway?
So
like how...
I remember when he came, I had this franchise mentality and this idea of what I wanted to do in my head. And when he came, it kind of like turned me upside down. And I never told any of this. I was super nervous after he left, because I was like, whoa, like I'm not gonna be able to franchise this thing. This is too
mean
skilled.
He turned you upside down? He like told you straight up?
No, he didn't tell me that we couldn't franchise something like that. I just think I saw the process and I saw how complicated it was. And even after he left, like the pizza, when he was there, the pizza was coming out perfect, right? And then he leaves and I start making it on my own. And I'm like, what am I doing wrong? I'm not getting the structure. I'm not getting the crumb structure. I'm not doing this. I'm doing that. I'm on FaceTime with him. I'm saying, you got to come back. And I ended up having him come back, and we ended up perfecting it. And then I would just study with, I had my head pizza guy there, Peter. And if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be able to run this thing on my own. He's an absolute beast when it comes to pizza. He's an animal, and at first, he didn't know what Roman style pizza was, and he's coming from working at Umberto's as a kid and just used to that all trumps regular pizza.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And it's hard. He's like an old school guy. It's hard to change their mind on something. But when he tasted it, he's like, "All right, we got to learn how to do this." So me and him kind of just slowly developed this thing that would work in the high demand American pizzeria. because there's two different ways of doing Roman style pizza. I think there's my way, which is easier to do at scale and for speed and pump out pies and delivery and that kind of stuff. And then there's the way he does it, which is super artisanal. You're baking everything from raw instead of par baking everything. And you're putting these toppings on, and you're cooking them at all different temperatures and different settings on the oven, and every single pizza is a different thing. And there's a crostino and a red base, and it was just too complicated to do in what we do here.
Right.
So I think when he taught me, I had one idea, he had one idea, and we kind of melted them together to come up with this final product. And when he started his own school, I said to him, I'm like, yo, like, do you need somebody else? Or he asked, I don't remember how it went, but he was like, I'm like, if you need a place in New York to train people, my place is yours. You could teach whoever you want here. Honestly, every single time he does come and do a training, I learn more.
Right.
So it's like he's still adjusting his recipes, and he's still learning, and he's still adjusting. Like, everything's different sometimes when he comes, and it's very confusing. But I've been with him. I've basically taken so many classes with him that not me taking them, me instructing with him or watching him, or that
Get to new places.
Yeah, because I kind of see his process.
On the last podcast we did with Danny from Raza, we were talking a lot about, how it's like as soon as you think you know everything, you don't know anything.
Yeah, dude, it's
what
always
I mean?
It's always changing, and I think he kind of knows that too. And so every time he teaches a class, I'm like, that's a different recipe, or that's a different temperature he just cooked that at.
Well, because he's constantly doing
He's
it.
constantly changing,
in it,
and now he's getting super into the pala, and so he's like really into that. And then
explain pala, because there's a lot of people that might not
so
understand that.
pala is basically cooked directly on the stone and stretched on the table.
Sometimes called a metro.
Sometimes
pizza
called
as
a
well.
metro. It's very similar, and it's cooked directly on the stone and not in a pan. So pizza in Taglio is pizza al taglio is usually cooked in a pan. The pala is cooked directly on the stone, and he used to love this like super thick crumb structure, and now his pizza morphed into this like thin little pizza that's super light, crispy, and airy. And it's like his palate is developing, and it's really
it changes constantly.
It changes constantly.
I go through the same thing. Like sometimes I'll be looking for like this, like crazy cornichone, and then like I'll switch it to be like I want to like create like the, crispiest.
Yeah, like this thin, crispy. Yeah.
Whatever. I don't know if you know this, but Salvatore Olivella, who was like, in Numero Vendotto and Pie back in the day, were the original places that brought Pizza Pala or Pizza Metro to New York.
No,
I was one of the original employees when Sal had to leave. So I learned like they called it like the accordion method of stretching back then.
Yes, yeah.
Where we had to stretch out these pies like this at like numero 28 and these different spots. But so I'm very familiar with that product.
So I mean, because he's into the pala now I'm starting to get into it a little bit. It actually, we did recently a master class in Castay in Manhattan, and then we did 2 days there, and then we did 1 day here. It was first time back to the United States since the pandemic, and he had all pandemic to just sit with himself, his oven, and his dough mixer to develop new things and new methods, and I think the people don't realize that took that master class that they got the best version of Massimiliano that I think I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah.
I was it Domenico there?
Yeah, Mimo was there.
Mimo.
Angelo, Mind Machine was there. I don't really know who else. I don't remember, but
how many students total were there?
We had
like 10 or 12.
So it was like we did this like Thanksgiving Eve
Okay.
And the day before was like a holiday week, and we had, I think it was like 15 to 20 students at Keste, and we did about 10 students in Mineola.
Really?
On Thanksgiving
At your
Eve.
spot.
At my spot, yeah. And like that's the crazy part is like the students who don't know Massimo don't realize that they got this upgraded version that I've never seen before, and I was really taken back. And I learned so much in those 2 days that it actually made me want to morph my pizzeria into something different. So to get into that, basically when I opened my place, I didn't want to have a kitchen. I didn't want to do salads. I didn't want to do anything. I wanted just pizza. Delivery, pickup, slices, authentic Roman style pizza. Slowly over the years, I morphed into something that I never intended to be, right? I morphed into the typical New York style slice shop pizzeria, like a Gino's, like an Umberto's, like a Mario's, whatever. Started doing more New Yorks, started doing full kitchen, chicken marsala, chicken franchise, you name it, I got it on the menu.
Right.
Over those time, I saw a trend in, and then COVID happened, and then I saw this trend in food costs skyrocketing and staff and labor skyrocketing, cost of staff and labor skyrocketing, and the scarcity of the staff and labor. After Massimo Miliano came, he said to me, he's like, why do you do all this? He's like, is this helping your business or it's not? I said, you know what? Like when you leave, I'm going to dive deep into the numbers. So I found that like the kitchen with the food cost, what it was, and the change in the landscape of how business is being done, I realized that like this business model doesn't work anymore.
Right.
Just from my previous business knowledge, I've learned that like this doesn't work. Okay, because you can't afford to pay these guys that amount of money
to create like a chicken parmesan, chicken marsala
it's
menu.
too much. Food cost is too much. Everything's too much. So
Yeah.
after he left, so now I'm in the process of eliminating my kitchen completely.
Yeah.
I've decided that like
I I met a guy about a month ago, Dave from Tavolino in New Jersey. Nobody's ever heard about this place. It's one of the best squares I've ever had in my entire
what are
life.
they doing, like a Sicilian or
He's doing he's doing a straight up Sicilian, but he had a full kitchen and everything like that. And I met him. I had a slice. I was super impressed. I was like, this is one of the best Sicilians that I've ever had in my life. We sat down. We went out. He took me around New Jersey. And I started going over his numbers with him because I'm really good at numbers. And I was just like, yo, listen, like, I know you think people like this fettuccine shrimp thing that you got. I know you put all this effort into it, but like I'm looking at your numbers right now and like nothing's making sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
it's the same situation.
you got to sell an extra 300 of these a week for these numbers to start like computing.
Yeah, it was the same situation. Like we were making money, but I said if I eliminate this kitchen, this place will be super
Even if your
successful
gross
and
goes
easier.
down,
It doesn't matter. Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
Profits go
Profit's
up.
what it
Yeah.
is.
So
Yeah.
I was like, so now I'm in the process of doing that, and also it wasn't so much that the money wasn't the issue. It was more the issue though is that this pizza thing has almost turned into a hobby for me because nobody's gonna get rich owning one pizzeria location.
Depends on the pizza.
Listen, if you got a powerhouse that's been there, yeah. But what I'm saying is, a little slice shop like mine, I'm not going to get rich doing that.
Right.
So my main business right now has turned into those houses and flipping houses and building new construction and that kind of stuff. So I have the luxury of this being a hobby for me, where if it makes, if I keep my guys employed, my good guys, and I make a couple dollars here and there, it's great because I love doing it. It's a passion for me. So I'm very, very fortunate to be in the position that I'm in to have this. Whereas most people, if they had to rely on on this location, on my location to live.
To pay all their bills and everything.
Yeah,
like that. It wouldn't exactly work.
I'm not an owner
Well, we
operator.
talked about that before. But talking about that, like, I mean, I know it's like off the topic of food and everything like that, but I'm sure, like, our audience, like, what? I mean, I know I'm interested. Like, what does it look like? Like, when did you start? Like, I know you mentioned it before. Like, you hooked up with your cousin and you started like this kind of like house flipping. Mm-hmm. Is that what it's called?
It's not really like we're builders. Like,
You're builders.
You're a builder. Like, you buy some old lady who died.
What
house.
does that business look like?
Okay.
Like for the layman, and I'm the layman.
Okay.
And I think everybody listening is a layman too.
So most of the stuff that we buy is from an insider source that doesn't hit the market yet, right? I know Mike Fusco, who's sitting here right now, we said that before. His neighbor is an old lady and she dies, right? He's friends with the children. They want to sell their mother's house and get some money. Mike says, hey, Rob, these people want to sell their house. Go over there, offer them all cash, and buy their house. Okay. I go over there. I say, hey, the market value for this house, it's a knockdown. It needs full renovation, whatever. It's in a great neighborhood, and it's a great size property. And you go there and you say, hey, so and so, I'll give you $400,000 for your house. You don't have to do anything. Quick close, all cash, no real estate commissions, no nothing. You take the money, and I take the house. And sometimes they're like, fantastic. I don't have to do nothing. You're going to hand me $400,000.
Other times they're like, what am I missing?
Other times they're like, well, I kind of want to list it. The real estate market's hot right now. And, maybe I could get $500,000. Maybe I could do this. And most of the times when they do list it, they do make more money.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But this is one of those things. So I say, okay, what are new constructions comping at in this area? So I said, okay, this year, 3 houses from builders, because there's a lot of people doing this. This one sold for $1.2 million. This one sold for $1.1 million. This one sold for whatever. So I know it cost me around, to build on a 60 by 100 lot, it cost me about $450,000 to build a house.
Knocking it down.
That's knocking it down. New foundation, brand new house with everything in it, $450,000.
Okay.
So if I pay $400,000 for the property and I build a house for $450,000, I'm into it for $850,000 without real estate commissions.
Right.
Real estate commissions like 4% or whatever it is.
And then you calculate like kind of on that area, like
you calculate on that and you say
million,
like, hey, I could sell this thing for 1.2, so 850,000 minus 1.2, there's your profit. That's what you're taking home for that one project.
Right.
Takes about 8 months to build the house, so in 8 months you take home. Look, we usually gauge it on if you can make $200,000 on a deal, it's a good deal.
What other like nuances are involved in that?
Nuances as far as what? Like the hardest part.
Like what could go wrong?
Honestly,
in other words,
when it's new construction.
Like if somebody like decided to do this, like let's say like somebody's got like $2 million liquid in the bank, and like they hear this podcast and they're just like,
oh man,
I'm gonna do that, and like
it's
how like because I can tell them how they can fuck up in the pizza industry and the restaurant and bar. Like there's got to be. I don't know.
Okay.
Because I'm not in the business, but I got to imagine that there could be like 20 different ways to fuck that up.
Yeah. I mean,
and to like be in the hole for 200.
Yeah. So look, obviously overpaying for a property, taking a risk on a property, the real estate market crashing.
Well, what about just the construction? Like,
okay,
so you're not doing the construction.
No, me and my partner don't.
Do you know even like if I told you to like demo and frame out this wall like right behind you, do you even know how to do that professionally?
So I'm still learning that business.
Okay.
That's not something that I ever did or ever really had interest in, but if it makes money, it makes sense. So I'm still learning all the little nuances of that business, and it's going to take time because all my time is taken up by the pizzeria. But what could really go wrong is we don't have any employees in that business. So my partner, everything is a sub. He's the main GC, and everything is subcontractor. So you hire an electrician, you hire the foundation guy, you hire a plumber, and we have guys that he's been working with for years,
For a long time.
that he kind of knows. They know exactly what we want. He knows exactly what they want, and it's just every house is step by step the exact same thing. Sometimes the plans, the actual architectural plans, are the exact same for every house that we do for the lot size.
Right.
So that's so you're not so there's no employees. You're not actually doing anything. You're just paying each subcontractor to do it step by step, knock down the house, foundation.
So it's probably important to like have those relationships, because
absolutely.
I could imagine, I don't know if this is right or wrong, but I can imagine a like scenario where you don't know what plumbing costs. You don't know what electric costs, and if you pay 20,000 over here or 30,000 over there,
it's also price shopping. But the guys we've been working with, there's plumbers that do new construction, and there's just plumbers that go to your house.
You guys don't really own a construction company. Basically, your boy is GC and then understands the nuances of that whole entire thing.
It's a company that we do many different projects. There's no brick and mortar location. It's just we buy, build a house, and sell it, and you're on to the next one. So right now we have like 6 projects going on right now.
Wow.
So the real estate market's hot, and the hardest part of this whole thing is finding the property, because there's so much competition. And
well, the housing market's insane.
It's insane. It's insane.
Yeah,
and
outside of New York City, it's
if you bought houses pre-pandemic and you paid like
you're dumb.
You made a lot of money this year.
Bro, my cousin just bought a house in Morristown recently, and I think it's up over, I think it's like 350,000 up.
Yeah,
in 1 year,
it's
not
insane.
It's gonna
it's not
like
stopping.
Bro,
Yeah.
everyone wants to live there. That's like from New York. My mother bought a house in Point Pleasant 4 years ago.
Okay, and it's up.
Pre-pandemic, it was up triple.
Yeah.
Or no, not triple. It was up to like I think
Not
650
triple,
or 7.
Yeah.
Right? From what she bought it for at 350, and she's right on the river. Now, bro, if she wanted to, she could get 1.3 cash.
Absolutely.
And that's 4 years.
I believe
like
it.
post-pandemic.
You know,
it's insane.
Where like a lot of people made a lot of money if you bought your house, the projects pre-pandemic, and then built them during the pandemic and sold them during the pandemic. A project that you were going to make 200,000 on, now you made 4.
Right.
It's like crazy what happened, and unfortunately, we had trouble finding stuff pre-pandemic, so we didn't really get that lucky. But now going back to the gift of gab. My partner Danny is a little bit more shy and not as aggressive or abrasive as I am, so I think we make a really good team on as far as I have that gift of gab. And now my job right now, he's building the houses. My job is the pizzeria and building those relationships with the real estate agents.
Right.
And that's what I'm good at.
So he essentially you're front of house, he's back of house.
In the pizzeria, yes, and in the actual building.
I'm talking about in the building.
No,
you're
in the building. He runs the show. I'm just
but I'm saying back of house of the building trade would essentially that would be dealing with like being the GC, dealing with the contractors.
Yeah, he does all that.
Front of house of the building trade.
He's still been in the business a long time. That he has relationships with real estate agents, so he really knows what he's doing. And if it wasn't for him, I couldn't.
But he's still back of house even in that case because he's just kind of subcontracted them to be the front of house.
I guess you could say that
in a way.
In a way,
because they're really the ones that are dealing with like the face to face, like, hey, sell me your house.
Yeah, and so like I'm building relationships here and there with more shady characters, I would say. That used to not like people who are swindlers in the real estate game, and they're like real estate agents, like cockroaches, bro. They're everywhere. There's so many of them, and they're all trying to make a buck. There's so much money involved, and you know what? If you align yourself with a couple of the right people, and they just start feeding you projects, that's when you really get the ball rolling.
Yeah.
So
that's like it's a common even pop culture thing where like you watch TV shows or movies and you see these like housewives and they go to get the real estate license because they got this person, this person, this person, and they saw we're making money.
My stepmother actually ended up getting her real estate license because my stepbrother flips houses also, but he doesn't really do new construction. He kind of buys houses and fixes them up and then sells them. I think he likes to do that better because they do a lot of the work with themselves with their actual hands and they do everything like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's a different.
Buys new or old?
So he buys older
houses.
He basically call them remodels, and they remodel it. Sometimes they keep the foundation and build on top of it, or they knock down some
your
walls.
main thing is like building new
construction.
new construction.
So it's weird dynamic in this building thing because my uncle builds, my other cousin, he's a builder, my stepbrother's a builder, and we're kind of all intermingled in sometimes we're all bidding on the same houses and stuff like that. So
are you using them for any of the builds or like they're separate things?
We're all separate because I just think there's
so you're like a Geno's in building.
Yeah, we're all separate, different company names, and it's a little weird at family gatherings talking about business with each other because like, oh, you got this one, oh, I bid on that one. It's a little weird.
Well, it's almost like like you talk to a regular person off the street and you say like, hey, I'm opening a pizzeria, or I do this. I wouldn't say constantly, but it happens once in a while where it's like I'm doing a project, I need to raise some money, and I'm talking to guys who have never been in the restaurant or pizza industry, and it's just like, hey, I'm Nino, I'm a 10-time world champion, I own Williamsburg Pizza, I own this and this and that, and I need.
Aren't you an 11-time?
I gotta raise. I don't even know at this point. I'm 11. I'm 12. I don't even know. We gotta go back on the interweb and do the math.
Oh God,
it's over 10. It might be 12. I want chopped.
Could you imagine having so many pizza championships that you don't even remember?
You don't even remember. Well, there's
crazy.
different ways of counting too. Like some guys count like third place in fastest pizza fucking thing as a world championship.
Can I say something about you?
Yeah.
When I first met you, I was like, holy shit, this guy is out of his mind. He's out of control. This is great. Like, how does this guy have these 10 championships? And then I started talking to you, and I was like, whoa, this guy is a fucking genius when it comes to this stuff. Like, people who don't know you just see your persona.
Yeah.
And say like, oh, this guy,
Yeah, I don't know about this guy.
But like, I'm here
This
to
guy
tell
looks
you guys,
drunk right now.
if you guys have never met Nino, this guy knows his shit. Like,
yeah, you gotta hang out with me like in the afternoon instead of like at night in Vegas.
You surprise me all the time when you start talking about dough and the science behind it. I think it's the craziest. Like,
I mean, it's only because that's what I'm into, and listen,
like,
it's
but
not.
People
it doesn't take much.
But
like,
people don't know you don't realize.
Yeah.
Like,
I know, and I get
you
that.
won
That's
chopped
fine.
agast some of the best pizza makers in the world. You won.
Two of them were my mentors, and
like,
one of them was one of my best friends.
Exactly,
so,
but I'm just like, I don't think
Yeah.
people get it, and I can't stress that enough that this guy knows his shit.
Some people get it.
If they meet you and they talk to you,
well, here, like, how many people have 6 fucking we know the guys in New York, right? Mm-hmm. We know Pizza Suprema is great. Okay, we know Massimo Industria and Nicky. All right, I don't want to forget about Nicky because it's mostly Nicky. It's not Massimo. Nicky's the guy behind that pizza at La Industria.
See, I don't know them too. I mean, I know
but I'm
Massimo
saying
a
like
little
we
bit.
know the top spots.
Yeah.
Out of all those places that we know the names of who's making the best pizza in New York City and
Are you
Brooklyn,
asking me what my
Manhattan,
favorite pizza is right now?
no, I'm just saying how many of those guys that have opened up in the past 10 years have 6 spots?
Nobody. No, I know you have all those locations.
They don't. You know what I mean?
Going back
that's
to
fine.
My best. Can I ask you? Like, I want to know what your favorite pizzeria is in the world. I want to know what, like, if you were gonna God forbid, die tomorrow, and you had to go to one place to get a slice, what would it be? It's a tough question.
No. I think I got the answer to that. It came into my head pretty quick.
Wow. Actually, wait.
It would be DeFara's.
Really?
But 12 years ago.
Okay.
Okay?
I was like, whoa, and then you said
But 12 years ago.
Okay, I agree with that.
And
But now, I'm talking right now.
right now, for the best New York slice, I think that's in, because that's my slice, is a New York slice.
New York slice.
I think it's Pizza Suprema.
Really?
Yeah. I think it's Pizza Suprema.
You know, I haven't been there.
Pizza Suprema, they're Joe Riggio, incredible place. They've always been incredible.
Wow.
They're just like my top choice. It's like between them and, like, for a plain cheese, Joe's, but you gotta go when it's not. Wait. Hear me out.
Any of that from you?
You gotta go when it's not busy.
I wasn't
Bro,
expecting any of that.
I
From
mean, if we were to go back in time, it would be like Bad Boys Pizza.
I guess I'm like from
fucking
such a,
Brooklyn.
like a new age of the pizza where, like, I don't know. I wouldn't pick any of those places.
But you've never been a Pizza Suprema. You weren't at Bad Boys. You weren't at Bad Boys 20 years ago.
I haven't been.
You weren't at DeFara's 12 years ago. So how do you know?
I've been to DeFara's.
12 years ago?
Yeah, why not? I'm pretty
Think
sure
so?
I have. It was fucking amazing.
I was there a
It was
lot.
good. I mean, you were definitely more than me, but I definitely made the trip and waited online and got the pizza for sure.
Pizza Suprema is like one of those like spots nobody knows about.
Yeah, I know.
And even though they've got a lot of accolades and this and that, I think Joe Riggio, when we revamped this podcast, I think he was right or wrong, Brady. He was the first guest, right?
Yep.
He was the first guy I called
Really?
to, because we did this.
I gotta go now.
We did this a few years ago, bro. He buys this specific brand of imported pecorino in giant fucking
That's awesome.
wheels this big, right? And fucking shreds them in the thing, and it's like 2 handfuls on every pie, with the grande cheese, with whatever tomato recipe he's doing, with whatever dough recipe he's doing, bro. Anyone, you gotta listen to that podcast, because
I will.
When he goes through the history of what he went
really
through.
Shocked at the answers you gave me. I wasn't expecting
Why?
that. I don't know. I just didn't like.
What do you
I guess,
think?
I guess now that I'm really
What do you
thinking about
think
it, maybe
I
I'm
would
not.
say?
I don't know.
What's
I thought
the
you were
right
gonna say
answer?
something way more artisanal.
No,
But you're like the nitty gritty. I want a New York slice. Like,
I want a New York fucking slice.
I hear you.
120%.
I hear you. I'm a little bit more artisanal when it comes to that.
I mean, I think the Fowler, I don't think you get more artisanal, and simple and than that. Where,
Yeah,
I mean,
if I had to choose right now, my favorite spot, I don't know. I don't even want to say. It's Mama's too, I think.
Mama's too is really fucking good.
I think right now
It's really good, and it's different.
Yeah.
We were just talking. I don't know who the fuck. I was talking about this with somebody yesterday or today. I can't even remember. Where it's like, and maybe we were talking about Brady. We're me and Frank. No, me and Frank were talking about this. No. Hear me out. Where it's like, there's certain pizzas that aren't a style.
I was talking about this with somebody. Yeah, I can't figure out what style it is.
It's not a style.
Yeah,
it's Mama's 2 style.
Yeah. So
Lucali's is Lucali style. DeFara's is DeFara's style. You can't put it in a Neapolitan, New York, St. Louis, Chicago category.
So I did a consulting last week.
Angelo's in Philly. That's Danny Angelo's style. Dan from Raza.
That's his style.
He's not Neapolitan. He's not hipster Neapolitan. He's fucking Raza style.
Yeah. I did.
And that's the same thing with Frankie from Mama's
I
style.
did a consulting job for this guy in Jersey City, a place called Chickies. And they ended up doing Detroit's and stuff like that. Awesome place, beautiful spot. If you're there, check it out. But the when they called me to do the consulting, I said, "Well, what are you looking for? You're looking for Roman style pizza because I'm a Roman style guy. If you want Roman style," he's like, "I'm looking for like bar pies or like some kind of a square." He's like, "I really just want to do like Mama's too," and I'm like, "Shit." I'm like,
Good luck.
I'm like, yeah, like I'm like, I don't even know. He's like. I'm like, so I don't even know what you're asking me to do because I don't know how to classify what they do. Like, I don't know what style that is. I'm like, listen, like,
Oh, I'll tell you how you can do it.
I know how I could do it, but
No, I swear. You got to go back to the day. You got to go back to the day because remember something. Right now, we could go on the supercomputers that are in our pockets. And we can like get the original New York style pizza that we all grew up with, like recipe or some version of it. We can read books and learn about hydrations and be able to like do all these different things. To make a Mama's 2 pizza, you got to get a fucking oven, and then you got to go to and this is how it used to be done. This is how if somebody that wasn't in the world, right, of this thing, even 10, 15 years ago, wanted to open up in Austin, they literally had to like come out and try to get a job somewhere, and at the same time that they got a job a few days a week and like learn certain recipes, go to every single place, test every day, and like get to that point. And it's like if you want a Mama's 2 pizza, you got to go to Mama's 2 2 or 3 times a week to eat the slice 2 or 3 times a week,
and
when you're not doing that, you're experimenting. That's the only way you're gonna.
Is like I love Frank, who's at Mama's 2. He's a great guy. You know,
he's
his pizza.
I can't wait for him to come out.
I have so many friends in pizza that I don't like to tell someone that I think their pizza is the best. And people get mad at me if I say Mama's 2 or if I say industry or if I say I think there's like
when my friends get mad at me for saying anything, I tell them to go fuck themselves. So if they don't like that, then they're not my friends anymore.
You know, in Philly,
it's subjective.
My friend,
it's completely subjective.
My friend Davide,
it's a personal.
My friend Davide opened up a pizzeria in Philly called Pizzata. Oh my god, this guy, it's amazing. It's amazing. Well, next time you're in Philly, you gotta go. No, he's doing like a sourdough, New York style 16-inch pies. I think it's a gas oven. I think he's putting in I think he's just got a baker's pride.
It's gas.
But
he's trying to do a Badia.
Yeah, kind of. And he partnered up. I forgot the guy's name now, but he partnered up with this other guy who won the Neapolitan in 2019, the last year they had it at the Caputo Cup. He won the Neapolitan, so they're doing like a sourdough. And if you guys are in Philly, check out Pizzata.
I'm going to be in Philly soon. I'll definitely check it out. We got Dan from Angelo's. He's coming on the podcast.
Awesome. Angelo's is amazing too. But Davide, his Instagram is at Obsession Pizza, and he is like a brother to me.
Pull that up.
Pull what up?
Obsession Pizza.
At Obsession Pizza is his Instagram. You know, it's funny. When I started doing this pizza thing, I didn't know about the world of pizza around it.
Yeah.
I've made some friends that I could truly say that like these people were going to be lifelong friends for me. Like even you. Like I met you. You put me on, and I've heard that you put a lot of people on.
Listen, I didn't put you on for no reason. I put you on because you already fucking had it.
Yeah, no, I know, but like,
you know what I mean? I don't want credit for that because I didn't choose you with a bingo number.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, this guy's doing fucking real shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
like to get into this pizza world, I don't think many people know that like how cliquey it is and how much of a there's like different segments of it.
There's weird shit.
It's really weird. It's like I don't think people talk about how weird it is enough and how there's like pizza celebrities.
I'm going to tell you how to navigate it. No, it's weird for everybody. All right, but
people who aren't in the world,
bro. When
I talk about it, they're like, "What the fuck are you saying to me?"
Yeah. Yeah, it's a whole
You're
fucking
saying there's
world.
this guy, Tony Gimignani, who's like the godfather of the pizza world who controls everything?
It's
I'm
like on the level of like furries. You know what furries are?
Oh, yeah, that's what it's like.
It's like one of those things.
Dude, when I first started...
It's like the general public has no idea.
No, they have no
But it's
idea.
like this real thing with
It's
like
so weird.
drama and
super drama.
yeah.
Politics.
Pizza the movie. Have you ever seen this thing?
There's politics in pizza like you guys
Bro,
wouldn't.
have you ever seen Pizza the movie?
No.
With an explanation point?
No.
It's not even available on Amazon anymore, but I have a copy of it. I'll
I
fucking
need
show it to you. It is like literally a documentary about pizza times. So Tony Gimignani used to be on the U.S. pizza team. Him and Steve Green.
I don't get all this
So
pizza
I'm gonna explain
team
it to
and
you.
champions
so
of pizza. I don't-
him and Steve.
What do you-
So Steve Green owns PMQ magazine.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Green used to work for Domino's. I think he created like the Noid, the Domino's
Okay.
Noid guy.
Yep.
And then he started working for Pizza Today magazine.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the guys that run like the Las Vegas and the big pizza conventions. So he started his own pizza magazine and started putting on his own conventions in New York and Orlando.
Okay.
And Tony Gimignani was the guy that started the U.S. pizza team. But Steve Green is a crazy fucking guy. I don't like the guy. The guy's not like, he's not a fucking terrible human being, but he's a guy that like, you can butt head with in business and like he can like try to fuck you and take over fucking shit. Like not in any kind of like gangster or like horrible like, way like we know things like where we grow up, but like still. So him and Tony, that happened with them. He called up Pete. That was the original magazine. And that's when he started the World Pizza Champions. And this documentary covers the beginning to end. Bro, it's incredible.
Oh, shit.
Like, especially for
gotta
somebody
see that.
like you that like knows who these people are. You're gonna watch this
So
thing
now, like,
and you're gonna like bug the fuck out.
Yeah, so like now that like there's a fine line for me too. Like I'm a little bit like I'm kind of like you. I'm a little bit abrasive. Like I don't really give a fuck. Like what you like what you do in the pizza world, whatever. Like I let my product stand on its own, and like I don't really get wrapped up in a lot of the politics. I have in the past, like when I first started. and
Most
then
of the politics revolve around like people like being mad about whether they won a competition or who was at a booth.
the competitions, I'm a very competitive person, so I do get a little salty. Like if I don't like, I took second place in the Caputo Cup.
This is what I tell everyone.
And
You know what I tell
Your
everyone?
wife actually was one of the judges for my pizza.
Didn't you tie with Cesarano?
No, he was in a different division. Who, John?
Because
Giovanni? Whatever
John,
you call
like,
him now?
I think he tied with somebody for first or second place.
Yeah, no, that was
He had, bro, he should have won that. Like, I had his pizza. Like, it
Really?
was with the Arbor cherries.
yeah, you said that.
Bro,
He was in a
Out
different
of
division.
fucking
I think he
control.
was in the either traditional division or
no, it was non-traditional.
I'm sorry, non-traditional, and he did Apollo
Either
pizza.
pan.
Yeah. No, he took second place. I think he tied with someone, or someone gave him a really bad score. One of the judges gave him.
And that's
going
gonna
to
happen. That's like,
Yeah.
Here's the thing that you got to realize when you compete, and this is what I tell everybody:
Yeah.
nobody knows when you lose.
Yeah, that's
Nobody
true.
but you.
Nobody cares. Yeah.
Your family doesn't
I don't think
know.
anyone really cares when
unless
you win either.
tell your family. Like, there's no news article saying like
This person lost.
Rob from Taglio Pizza lost in the
Yeah,
International
yeah, I
Pizza
guess you're right.
Challenge 2016 in Las
It's
Vegas.
still- it's-
no one knows but you.
But like, all right, so that competition was a pan competition. I did a Roman style pizza in a pan competition going up against Sicilian. And this, if anybody's watching this who runs these competitions, you can't put a Roman style pizza up against a Sicilian pizza, up against a Detroit pizza, up against a grandma pizza. It just it doesn't work. Roman needs its own division. I think
Well, it
Sicilian
did for a couple of years.
it did 1 year, and then COVID, they lost
Right.
it. But I think Detroit and Sicilian should be its own
division. Even, but
I mean, I think you can make the same argument for
you
Detroit as the
you
Southern.
could.
Or Grandma.
Yeah, no, grandma. I mean, you could, but like, there definitely is a fine line between all these things, and they can't have 10 different divisions. You know what I mean? I get it. I get why they don't do it.
Well, there's no perfect score ever, and it's subjective. And like
Super subjective.
one of the other big problems is that like you have people judge differently. So there's the way that it works right now. There is like a big splash of luck involved in winning any of these things, and I'll tell you why. So let's say you're in the pan division. People's brains work differently. So like you take a guy like John Arena or my wife Shaylin Brown.
So wait, real quick. The judges for my pizza was John Arena, Shaylin, and Vince Rotolo from Good Pie in Vegas. John Arena gave me the highest. This is what I take out of it, right? I respect John Arena so much. I think he's like amazing pizza man. He gave me the highest score of all the pizzas he judged. And after the competition came up to me and said that was an incredible pizza, is the best of the competition. So even though I got second place, I came out of this saying to myself, like, wow, like that guy who I look up to, who I don't really know too well, said that I had an amazing pizza, and that meant a lot to me. Shaylin gave me a really high score, and Vince gave me a decent score. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, so I know about Shaylin and John because I've judged with them two before. And I've judged with other people before, which I'm not going to name. Like like one of them's not Vinny, but Shaylin and John, like the worst. So you got a 0 out of 100 score, right? So Shaylin and John score for the worst fucking piece of shit hole in it pizza. Is never going to be under 60.
Really?
Because that's.
I guess you're right.
Hear me out. This is just how people work, okay? And this isn't just Shayla and John. This is like people like.
Mike, 1 second. Mike, come here for a second. Answer this for me. Here. Oh shit. Keep going.
Meanwhile, you'll have like a you'll have another person who the burnt pizza with the hole on it will not be a 50 or a 60. It'll be a 0, right?
Okay.
And then the pizza that they kind of liked will be a 50.
My son FaceTimed me. That's him.
Oh.
I know you haven't seen it.
Hey.
He's one.
What's up, buddy?
Oh,
why you on just a spot? Good Jacobs! What's his name?
That's Rocco. That's
Rocco
Rocco.
Cervoni, everybody.
Yeah, that's Rocco. He's 1 years old. He's a little over 1 year old. It's amazing having a kid. I know you have kids, and it's amazing.
Oh yeah.
He's probably wondering why I'm not home with him right now. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, go back to what you were saying about the competition.
Yeah. So basically, like, when you have like hundreds of competitors, not every person judges the same. So you'll get like one judge. It's not like a good or a bad person. It's just like the way people are. So like John, you give him a burnt garbage pie.
Yeah.
And he'll still judge it like a 50 or a 60 out of 100.
Okay, so but that's saying so there's like a different scale for each judge, right?
Right.
So what I didn't like about that competition that there was a different set of judges.
But that's how it's always been.
It's
now,
always like
what's
that.
the solution to this? Because this is just human nature. The solution
But
to this.
you see why that's a problem, right?
I see why it's a problem, of course. So the solution to it is that there should be master judges at this pizzeria, at this competition. Now, what does that mean? That means somebody like a John Arena or a Scott Weeder or a Peter Reinhardt or yada, yada, yada. Guys that everybody in the industry respects, they're not putting scores, right? Because no one can eat 100 Like, no 5 judges can eat like 100 pizzas by themselves.
Yeah.
So what the master judge's job is not to make a personal score. So, like, let's say John Arena was the master judge. He would have a iPad, right? Mm-hmm. He would take pictures of every pie. He would be recording in real time on like a fucking real time like Excel sheet or program, like the scores, right? And when the judges switched out, he would be able to see what I'm talking about right now, where it's like, hey, our low scores are over here, our high scores are over here. They've tried things in the competitions where they like throw out the highest score and lowest score and do the 3 middles to like make it more fair.
Oh, so
and that's what they were doing. Yeah, so John Arena gave you
Vegas,
yeah, they did that in, I think, your competition. He would be putting out. What I want to vote for is like when the new judges come in, we're like, this is our baseline. Mm-hmm. Okay? These are our top 5, 1 through 5 scores right now. These are the tasting notes. These are the pictures. Blah 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 blah. And you have to use this as you know, and the judges are like coaching the judges to say like the real experts to say like, you know, what the fuck it is.
What I'm learning here is there's no perfect system.
There's never going to be a perfect system
yeah.
for something like this.
That's unfortunate.
And listen,
because the best pizza doesn't always win.
Well, the best pizza is always 120% of the time going to be subjective.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
I think
like
also
if you win over and over and over again, then you can say like,
subjective.
Okay, there's something there.
Yeah, no,
you know
doubt.
what I mean? Because
no
it's
doubt.
like you
but
got like one after the other after the other.
But I also think there's a stigma after you win if you compete in another division and the judge and it's not a blind judging and the judge.
But it's always been a blind judging except for
in the
Neapolitan STG. No, in
Vegas, my Roman division wasn't blind.
Roman division is new. That's why I saw blind.
Because Derek Sanchez
traditional, non-traditional, or blind completely.
Yeah. I think
that's a problem though. I think you're 100% right. That should be blind.
Because Derek Sanchez did have a great pizza, and maybe it was the best. I don't know. I'm talking about the Vegas competition.
Yeah.
But it wasn't blind judging, and so once he
wrong.
wins 4 or 5 different things, and now all the judges know that this guy is a 4-time champion and he's coming into this division, there's a little bit of stigma there saying like, oh, this guy's pizza is definitely good. Of course it's good. He's a 4-time champion. I can't give him, even if his pizza sucks, I can't give him a low score. I have to, you know.
I just had a thought in my head. The judges should be voted in.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
You know,
because I know that to be another problem where like some of these competitions, like for certain things, like for like a pan division, they'll run out of the judges that they're really worried about, like the judges that they know are going to be good. And then they hire like random locals, like in the food industry that like are fucking momos.
You've judged a competition, correct? Many times.
Not really.
Now, from
I always stay away from it.
But I know you did judge.
I judged one time for like an hour and a half.
And I was there for that one time.
Yeah.
That was in 2019 when I competed.
Is it Atlantic City?
Yeah.
Yeah, in Atlantic City. That's what I'm saying.
That's when you competed. So my question is
I've never judged other than that.
He did,
and not because I couldn't judge. I specifically because they asked me every year to judge, and I'm like, if I judge, it's going to create a conspiracy.
No,
and I don't want to do it.
Nino, see, who chooses the judges?
Who chooses the judges? I don't know if you guys could hear Mike, but he is asking who chooses. The judges.
I mean,
is there
are we talking about Vegas or
is there foul play in the competitions?
Who chooses them? How do they get chosen?
Is there foul play as an organization? No, there's not. Is there?
Can championships be bought?
Definitely not.
In Italy?
In Italy, yeah. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I probably.
I never competed there.
I don't. Yeah.
So you don't think in the United States the competitions could be bought?
I don't think
by
it could
certain
be.
flour companies or whatever they say.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I honestly don't think so either.
Not like that.
I don't think so either. Because when I used to work with the Pacelli flour, I was in the Caputo Cup and I took second place. So you can't say that. I really don't think. I don't think they're rigged at all. I really don't.
It's not rigged.
Not rigged or
it
bought.
can't be rigged.
I do think
it's impossible for it to be rigged like that.
100%.
Are there problems? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But like, if the question is like, could a flour company or an individual buy a competition?
Yeah.
No.
But see, I think this is a really interesting topic for a lot of people that are maybe want to get into the competition scene.
Absolutely.
Just know that the competition scene is completely different than your actual pizza that you make in your pizzeria. There's competition pizza. I always tell my students when I do the consulting for the pizza school, there's competition pizza and then there's actual pizza. The competition pizza is so over the top, and you got to be so outside the box and really impress the judges with their fermentation process and stuff like that. Because people like Anino are judging it, and he doesn't give a shit what you.
Yeah, but I want all these things like essentially with whatever pizza I was making at the time.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're like way above and beyond what I think most of the people that compete are doing. I think you eat, sleep, breathe pizza, the science behind it, and I don't think a lot of people do. I mean, like you have a.
That's
pizza.
what you got to do.
Yeah. Like,
Well, why?
like I think people get caught up in like running the business.
Well,
like to go back to my place, like my pizzeria turned into something I never wanted it to be, and I got so caught up in just running the business and trying to turn a profit that the pizzeria slipped and the pizza quality slipped a little bit.
I think about shit is like, all right, bro, if I built houses, I would be going to housing competitions.
Yeah,
I would be like trying to be like
You'd wanna be the best.
most grossing house guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think in
if
pizza,
I
something like
did
that works.
carpentry, I'd be like, okay, I'm making
But
a
that's
living.
your personality.
No, I'm making a living here in carpentry, right? But okay, and I got my business here. But now that that's running smooth, now I'm gonna learn how to do carpentry with hand tools that people are gonna pay fucking like $12,000 an hour for.
I think this
and
goes
I'm gonna
back
put
to-
10,000 hours into learning how to do
I
that.
think this goes to the fact that people are okay with being mediocre. I think people are not like you or not like me or not.
Yeah,
like,
but you take guys. Listen, you know what I've been seeing? The guys that we keep on talking about, right? That whether you like them or not, but they're always fucking under your breath, right? They're not mediocre in any way, shape, or form.
what do you mean the guys that we're always talking about?
I'm saying like a Raza or an Angelo.
No. I'm not talking about that.
No, but I'm saying like these guys that keep on coming up, right? They're going to farmers markets. They're fucking completely immersed into their fucking business.
Oh,
they're
yeah, no
completely
doubt.
immersed
Yeah,
into their craft.
yeah.
And they're fucking murdering it. And whether you like what they're doing right now is completely subjective. Because the truth is that like they're doing real fucking insane
But that's
lines
not
out the doors
that's not who
numbers.
I'm talking about. I'm talking about the guy who opens up the pizzeria and just doesn't want to be the best.
Not going to be a business in 10 years from now.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying
what it
is
is.
your personality is no matter whether it's pasta, whether it's pizza, whether it's fucking beer. If you want to be the best at what it
Have
is,
to.
and I think people don't have that in them.
Why? What else are you doing?
I don't know. I think.
Don't you have to do something with your life though?
Yeah, no, I think it's either people get caught up in get caught up in life. I think people get caught up in running the business.
I'd love to hear about this. Like, explain.
Because
What does that mean?
It happens to me time to time. I'm not gonna lie.
So yeah, break it down.
Explain the process. So when I opened up Taglio, my goal was to be the best Roman style pizza in the United States, or be the best pizzeria, at least on Long Island, right?
Okay.
So over the years, with the pandemic, with getting married, with having a baby, I think I lost focus of and building houses and making money with that, I think I lost focus, and I think my pizza quality slipped. I think that I let the people who work for me take more control of the business, and what they're used to is working in Umberto's or a Mario's or a whatever, and they like turned my pizza into everything else. They started making New Yorks with penne alla vodka on top, and I came in and saw that, and I fucking bugged out. I'm like, what is that? I said, this is not what I want. This is not who I want to be, right? Like, I can't stress this enough that this is, once we start doing this, there's nothing differentiating us from everyone else. And I got very complacent, and this started happening under my nose, and I kind of just let it happen. And the straw that broke the camel's back was on Long Island. There's this food critic. Her name is Erica Marcus, and she does every year the best pizza on Long Island list. From the day I opened, I was on that list, I think 2 or 3 years in a row, and this year I wasn't on it. And I'm saying to myself, I completely understand why. She sent me a message and explaining to me, I've been thinking about you, whatever, and this is like, I got to judge my list based on what people are going to see when they come into your pizzeria, right? And when she came into my pizzeria, every year she goes to all these places and checks how they're doing and tastes the pizza and sees what's on the counter. When she came into my pizzeria, she's seen that all my Roman-style pizzas, nothing was authentic. There was all New York style pizzas that you would find anywhere else put on top of a Roman style pizza, or a penne alla vodka pizza, or a chicken vodka pizza on the top. Now, great, these things sell. Don't get me wrong, they sell in the neighborhood I'm in. That's what I have to do to stay in business. But that was for me the straw that broke the camel's back, and I realized to myself, wow, I really got complacent, and I let this happen, and it's my fault I let this happen. And I think that it's easy to go down that path when when life gets in the way. You understand what I'm saying? In a year span, we had a pandemic, I had a baby, I got married, and I'm running a business, also making money other places. So my head started wondering, and ever since, so that was the straw that broke the camel's back. And then when Massimo came here, it reignited a spark inside of me that I said, at this point, this is a hobby for me, and if I'm gonna do this, I want to be the best. And if you look at my pictures from 2 weeks ago, this is really like right now. This is happening. This transition is happening as we speak. I'm eliminating my kitchen. I just told my head chef that he's got to look for another job.
Wait, let's stop it right there. We got to take a quick break. But, yeah. Guys, stay tuned. I know what we're getting into right after this. This is going to be really good. I know what we're getting into.
All right. Give me some cool sound effects intro.
Yeah. Do all the sound effects. Like go through them all.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Salud. Oh, man. Really? You just chased that with water, huh?
Like magic.
Keeps you hydrated.
Yes, hydration
Keeps
is
you all
key.
hydrated.
Hydration is key. Hydration is actually key in pizza as well.
That's what you do with espresso too. So anyway, no, we gotta get serious over here.
Yeah, we're back.
So we are back, and now you're eliminating your kitchen.
Yep.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm of the mind, and I've been, I deal with a lot of people. A lot of them are friends. Some of them, like, I'm doing consulting for and this and that. And I find that a lot of guys can convince themselves of fucking anything. I got like this famous line the past fucking year where I'm like, pizza guys can convince themselves of the biggest bullshit ever. Right? And it's like when you say, I need to have this on my menu, right? Mm-hmm. Are you basing that on actual statistics and numbers and like sales?
No, I don't think anybody is. I'm
Some guys are.
I'm basing my sales on. I'm just going to give you fictional numbers. If your pizzeria does 10,000 a week, which is really low, and I'm just basing this off round numbers, $10,000 a week, and pizza is $9,000 of that, and your food is $1,000 of that, and your food cost is 40%, and your labor cost you $250 a day. I'm saying it's not worth it.
I'm talking about individual items. So, like, I'll give you an example. So, you're talking about, like, you're eliminating your kitchen, and that's fucking great.
Yeah. See, but like everybody keeps telling me when I tell them I'm eliminating my kitchen, everybody's like, "That's a great idea."
It is a great idea.
And it's weird that people would say that because like the guys who work for me are like, "That's a terrible idea."
Well, but they're not looking at the numbers.
They don't see the numbers. Yeah, they don't get it. Yeah.
That's the whole thing. The reason why I think it's a great idea is because, and I don't think it's a great idea from everybody. I don't think you should eliminate if you have a working kitchen. I'm not saying you should eliminate like your 6-burner or your combi oven.
No, I'm not changing anything in the
But
kitchen.
if the numbers don't make
there.
sense, like I said this before on the podcast, like it's like, okay, or maybe I didn't say this on this one, but I've run into a lot of people that I consider friends and that I look at their places and I make this assessment where I'm like, yo, you got this buffalo chicken and this
Hot seller too.
and this barbecue chicken
2 of my best sellers, unfortunately.
thing. You're buying the barbecue sauce from Restaurant Depot and the buffalo sauce. You're serving dry chicken on it, right? Like, you're telling me it's your best seller. I'm not talking about you and all, right? Right now. So take that out of your head. What I'm talking about is like these guys are opening up making half pies of each. And I'm like, if it was such a fucking crazy seller, why aren't you making 4 pies before you open for slices of each? And show me your POS and prove it to me.
Yeah, that's
because
crazy. Like when I say it's my bestseller, I say that like slice wise, I'm going through 7 or 8 pies of it a day, slice wise.
and what is that equal? Like, what's the percentage of that in your gross
$5 a
number?
slice.
No. I'm saying, what's the percentage of that of your gross number?
I have no
'Cause
idea.
Here's the thing. I'm not saying it's impossible to do.
I don't want to sell. I feel like you're trying to convince me not to sell this and saying that it's bad for the
No.
brand.
Hear me out over here. I think there's like there's definitely like Tony Baloney scenarios where it makes sense.
Yeah. See, like that's
Like, here's
what, I'm
what
trying
you're
to avoid.
losing, and you got to weigh this out. You got to weigh out the fact that, like, as soon as you have buffalo barbecue chicken, no one from the New York Times is going anywhere near you.
I hear you.
No one from
You've told me this before.
a reasonable, like a respected news or food news media company is
think-
going to come near you.
I think there's a fine line of all that, right? Like
Is there?
I personally love buffalo chicken pizza. I personally like to eat buffalo chicken pizza.
I understand.
Do I
that.
hate that about
perso-
myself? Yeah, maybe.
I personally like buffalo chicken.
Dude, there's a time and place. Look, we just ordered White Castle. Well, like, there's a time and place for everything. I eat Domino's.
agree.
I eat Domino's sometimes.
Bro, I eat Domino's sometimes too.
Yo, but like no
It's
one
not
says
pizza.
this. Can we like? I feel like everyone in the pizza world is so fake. And like, oh, pineapple on pizza and Domino's, bro. Like me and my wife, when it's late at night and we put the baby to sleep and we're hungry, we're like, yo, let's order Domino's. Why not? Get some cheesy bread. Shit is delicious.
I only do it when I'm wasted.
Yeah. Well, whatever. Yeah. Like after the club, you get the.
I can't do it if I'm not wasted. If I'm
Yeah.
living like a healthy lifestyle, like that's not something that's
Yeah.
happening.
I
But
think I think
I'm usually not living a healthy
I think we
lifestyle,
completely.
so,
Yeah, we completely went off topic. I think we were talking about the buffalo chicken and the barbecue chicken, and I think that I personally like to eat that. As far as eliminating the kitchen, I think if you could do it, and if you have the capacity to offer something, obviously if it doesn't sell, then you shouldn't do it because, yeah, you're right. You're not going to get no critically acclaimed food critic in there. And honestly, the food critic on Long Island doesn't like that I have that also. But every pizzeria you walk into in Long Island will have a buffalo chicken slice
Which
on the counter.
doesn't fucking matter, in my opinion.
Yeah, but what?
But
am
my
I really?
opinion, but my opinion is backed up by solid facts.
I agree with you
And the
100%.
facts are the guys that don't do that.
But how
and that are
important
killing
is
it,
that to you? I think that's you're being a sellout then.
That any person, any pizzeria on Long Island, New Jersey, that's making money, that has these products, right? They're 30 plus years old, right? They built their business a long time ago.
I don't think so.
Show me the place. Show me the place that's as old as you. Or even double the age as you, or even times it by 2.
Yeah.
That has that product that is super successful. You can't. It doesn't exist.
You're saying you can't be successful unless if you have buffalo chicken and barbecue chicken on your menu, you cannot be successful as a pizzeria.
I am not saying that at all.
Oh, so-
all I am saying is that if you look at places that are your age in business or my age in business, right, that are super successful, right, there's very few, like Tony Baloney is one example. Places that have opened in the past
Tony Baloney is so out there with what he does.
Exactly.
It's kind of like his little niche.
Exactly. So show me the place that's 10 years old.
Look, King Umberto
Not-
sells buffalo chicken pizza.
But they're 30 years old, 40 years old.
Okay.
Show me the place that's our age that does that and is super successful and actually financially sound. I don't see it.
I mean, I'm pretty financially sound and successful, but agree to disagree. I think that you could be successful selling that stuff also, but you have to offer that authentic product as well. I'm not going to sell out.
I think you're lying to yourself.
I'm not going to sell out and do everything for the critics. I like that stuff, so I sell it, and people like it also.
Yeah, but here's the thing: do you really give the love and care into the chicken that you're putting on this buffalo chicken?
No. I take it.
Where's the buffalo sauce come from?
I may be the exception. Like, I went to every pizzeria on Long Island and tasted their buffalo chicken, and I modeled mine after.
So what's your chicken? Explain your chicken. Explain how your buffalo sauce is done from like the buttermilk that you're making the butter out of. And yada.
Look, I'm not going.
You're not doing any of that.
I'm not going super above and beyond.
Tell me what
like
you're
that.
doing that's different.
Nothing. Nothing. I'm putting it on a Roman style crust.
If you're not
I'm doing
doing
a
that,
super. I'm doing an expensive.
Then you're
chicken.
wrong.
I'm frying it, butter, Frank's Red Hot. I actually had a little French dressing just to cut the spice a little bit. I know that's like an old trade secret, but you put a little French dressing to cut the spice, and I'm finishing it with a blue cheese dressing and celery. And
where's the
it's
buffalo
fantastic.
coming from? Where's the
buffalo
chicken
sauce?
coming from?
The chicken guy we use, it's called Ladybird. It comes in a fucking box from the meat guy, and I say, "Hey, meat guy, bring me some fucking chicken." And he brings me. I said, "Give me."
But is that different than like
delicious
the regular
chicken.
place or no?
I think people they sell the chicken chopped already, and most meat guys sell the chicken chopped for the pizzerias on Long Island because it became such a popular high demand thing that they get the super cheap chicken and they sell it to them chopped already, and then those guys just take it, toss it in flour, throw it in a deep fryer. Whereas I'm using the same chicken that I use for my chicken cutlets, and cutting and having the guy paying for the labor to have the guy cut up that chicken.
Like after talking to like Dan from like Raza yesterday, like if I were to ask him like make me a chicken parm or make me a buffalo chicken pizza, this guy would like look into the history.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Of,
And there's
like-
people that are like that. I'm just I can't get that crazy with it.
Why? Why can't you?
You
get
could,
that
but
crazy?
it's just
No. But I don't believe in that. Why? What are you doing that you can't fucking study and get
of
that
course
fucking
I
crazy?
could. I see where you're going with this.
What are you doing?
Life, man, life. I gotta
What
focus on
life? No, that's where we
So
left
I
off.
don't
Why can't you carve out an hour?
an hour to focus on the quality of my buffalo chicken slice because I'm more.
Not your buffalo chicken slice, but just your product in general. Like
No.
everything that you say,
because I don't.
it's like I can't.
No.
There's no room.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying I can't. I definitely can. I said I don't I prioritize certain things at different times.
You know what I think?
What?
Since we're being honest with each
Go.
other,
You're gonna tell me I'm lazy or
I think no, it's not. It's not. I don't think you're lazy, bro. You fucking work your ass off. You show up at your place.
Yeah.
I fucking see it.
I show up at my place.
I think
don't
that
need
you
to.
have a mindset where you think like me doing this doesn't matter. And I think it I know. I don't think. I know.
You're
I know
right.
it absolutely does.
You're absolutely right. So I prioritize. I'm very systematic, and I can't.
You're in a franchise before it's a franchise.
Yep. I'm very systematic where I'll focus on one aspect of the business, make that perfect, then move on to the next. If that makes sense.
But you're making it perfect for a franchise.
Yeah, you're right. And I got to get out of that mindset because it's just.
Yeah,
I know it's not gonna
I
work.
absolutely agree. If you agree with that, I absolutely
No, I agree with
that.
It's tough to get out of that mindset when you're in like that corporate franchise structure
and
where
everybody's
everything.
you're not the only one in it.
Yeah.
Guys that never been in a franchise, you've actually been in a
I've
franchise
been a
environment.
franchisee. Yeah.
Guys have
Yeah,
that same
you know what
mentality.
the
It's
problem
too
with-
hard. They're fucking wrong.
yeah.
I'll give you a pull up to Bella Subs real quick. I want everybody to fucking see
So-
this.
Yeah, I mean the franchise model is like you have handcuffs on, right? So when I had the 16 handles, I was young and I had so many ideas for the brand, but I'm handcuffed, right? Because I don't own the company. It's whatever they tell me to do, I got to do. And sometimes they would roll stuff out that I didn't agree with. Sometimes I wanted to roll stuff out that they didn't agree with. But it's really a breath of fresh air when you actually own your own place and you have full creative control. I don't know if that makes sense.
But it does make sense. But
Oh,
you're
no, don't do
chasing-
this. Oh no,
I'm not gonna do it.
don't do it.
I'm not gonna do it. Look up
Oh God.
to Bella's design.
Bella's design.
No, I want to see the inside of this place because this is a perfect. So, here's the story behind the Bellas. Me and my partner Aaron are in Cleveland, right? We're driving down the road.
How's Cleveland? It's nice.
That's fucking good. We were in there
I've heard it's
because
terrible.
we were planning on opening a place in Omaha, Nebraska, and we were gonna do it with impingement ovens,
I think
like
White
which is
Castle's here.
conveyor ovens.
Yeah, White Castle's here. Yeah.
White Castle's there.
Yeah, I think so.
Thank you.
So what if I took 2 White Castle burgers and put them on on my Roman style pizza? Would that fuck you up?
I mean, it would have fucked me up.
Can
but
I
you
tell you
wouldn't make
something?
any money off of it.
I know. You know, I did a Big Mac pizza.
There, look. Click on this one right here.
Jesus Christ, you almost fell off the chair.
No, this one.
Yeah. Okay.
So, does that right or wrong? Does that look like
Looks like a
plate?
Sbarro's.
With it looks like a Sbarro's.
No?
Bro, there's parquet floors.
Oh, okay.
There's booths from the 1940s. There's fucking neons
yeah, it
from
looks
that
cool.
era.
So what are you trying? What's the point you're trying to make?
There's a tin ceiling.
Yeah, I get it.
The
see it.
light structure is like
nice.
Art Deco.
It's not my style, but what's the point you're trying to make? What are we getting at?
We walked into that place thinking like that was the spot in Cleveland, only to find out that
It's like a Subway.
it started in Rochester and they have 80 locations.
Oh, jeez. What do you mean? You thought like you walked in thinking what? Like thinking that it was.
Bro, that looks like it's been there since 1940.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. I don't.
That's like the old OG spot, like the Cats.
Oh, so
You know
it's
what
like
I mean?
a franchise, but they made it look OG.
Yeah, that's what they fucking did. And they look behind the counter.
Oh wow.
Smells it.
Got a whole crate
Yo.
case. Shaylin.
All right. We're gonna take a quick break to eat, and we'll be right
Oh
back.
my God!
You
This
gotta
is
eat,
never gonna
right?
end. This podcast.
Yeah, that's how we're
All
gonna-
right, ciao.
You're fucked.
Let's crank this out. Let's do it. Start this shit back up. Well, we did.
All right, we're back. We
back.
ate our White Castle.
Yeah, it was delicious.
Jesus fucking Christ.
White Castle's so good.
So good, but there's a reason we call them murder burgers because
Oh yeah, I feel like shit.
they murder you. And
Yeah.
we call them sliders because they slide right out of you.
Yeah.
Slide
Got
right
him.
out of your asshole. All right, so this is my
Can we? Let's.
personal opinion from a business sense on things.
Oh no.
Wait, I know.
Can we just? I don't think people care about that shit.
Oh, they care very much.
I want to talk about. Can I tell you what I want to talk about?
Sure.
Because it's a little late in the podcast. I want to talk about the deep, dark world of this pizza clique.
Okay. Let's hear your.
We touched on it before, but I think for the people, if maybe I think only the people that watch this might be in that already.
You
And if
got to talk
are-
on the mic if you're
sorry.
going to talk about that.
And if you are in
Just-
it already, then you know exactly what we're talking about. The politics of it, the basic, just the politics is insane. Okay?
It's an invisible thing.
It's not invisible. It's very visible. It's very visible. I just opened, like I was thrown into this life of just like,
So
what
explain
the
it.
fuck is
Explain
going
it.
on?
I'd love to hear this.
So people that aren't in the pizza world, right? When I tell people I'm going to do a pizza competition in Las Vegas, they look at me like I have 10 heads.
What the fuck are you talking
What
about?
the fuck are you talking about, a pizza competition? You're telling me that a bunch of guys go to Las Vegas
From all around the
from
world.
all around the world and you all make pizzas and then some other pizza guy judges it
Not some other pizza guy, mostly. But
and then you all like you win trophies and stuff like that. And when I tell people this, they say, but like, what do you win? You win some money, you win a trophy, whatever. I think that if I won a trophy, that it would help my business. And then when I realize is if I won a trophy, it won't make a goddamn difference in my business at all. It's like
it completely depends. Here, I'll give it to you right here. It completely depends on you. If you go to the international pizza competition, if you win
international, yeah.
like the one that's the one in Vegas, the IPC. If you go to the Olympics of Pizza in Salsa Maggiore, now it's held
Where's
in
that?
Parma.
Oh, in
Now it's
Parma,
held in
okay.
Parma. It used to be Salsa Maggiore, now it's in Parma. But same competition, the Olympics of Pizza in Italy. If you win and you don't hire a PR agency in New York City to put that out there, no one will ever know.
Yeah, well, I think that's what I struggle with is
Like when I
So
tell my
it's not only do you have to win, but you have to have like a PR company lined up to announce your win.
well, I think for me, my biggest critic is my dad. Obviously, because the circumstances of me growing up, I've been very, very fortunate.
And what's your dad got to say?
Well, when I opened the pizzeria and I go, yeah, Dad, I'm gonna go to Las Vegas, this flower company. I'm gonna work in the booth with them. And he goes, are they paying you? No, they're not paying me, but they're paying for my flight. They're paying for my room, whatever. And he's like, well,
And then you got to work like a slave for 12
yeah,
hours.
and you gotta work. And then he goes, well, what are you gonna do there in Las Vegas? I said, there's a pizza competition. He goes, what? He said, pizza competition. And he said, yeah. He goes, are you a fucking asshole? What are you doing going to this pizza competition? You don't know how to make pizza. You got a pizzeria in Long Island. And then I go there and I take second place or whatever. I place and he still doesn't get it. And I think that's the struggle with the common customer, being someone like my dad, telling them what we do and then being like, well, you're an idiot because none of that shit makes sense. People are not educated on the amount of work and the amount of effort we put into our product that we're putting out, and I think that's the struggle of this whole culty pizza world is educating the customers. And I think everybody just goes there and toots their own horn, and they all like kiss each other's ass, and they're like, oh, this is great, and this is great, and this is great. And when they leave there, right, what does it all matter?
Shit.
Yeah, like what does it all matter? And I was
Well, isn't that a sign of like they just nicer than like the people we grew up with?
you remember back in the day, I know you probably touched on this in other podcasts, back in the day when you worked in a pizzeria, like they used to hide the tomato sauce cans and pull the labels off and shit like that.
120%.
I was watching a ramen noodle documentary.
Yeah.
You should check it out. It's pretty cool. It was on Amazon. And
I've seen it.
you saw it?
Yeah. I'm in love with ramen.
And yeah, I love ramen. and one of the guys on the show said the reason people are so secretive about all their stuff is because they don't want you to know that they're not doing anything special.
I agree with that.
Isn't that like when he said that? I was like,
I literally myself, I've said it, like, you go back on these podcasts, I say it multiple times. It's like, I'm like a dumb kid from Brooklyn.
yeah. like
in the end of the day.
sometimes I say to myself, well, I'm not really like when people write on my Instagram, they send me message like, yo, that pizza looks amazing. Can you show me how to do this? Can you show me how to do that? And I'm saying to myself, like, I'm not doing anything special. Like, it's just like basic stuff that I'm doing. And I'm an open book when it comes like, I'll give you my recipe. I'll tell you what tomatoes I'll use. I'll tell you everything. And it's such a weird dynamic from like when I used to work in the pizzerias and like I used to go in the back and see what flour they were using.
It is, but it doesn't matter anymore.
It doesn't matter anymore. Everything's
This is
on
how I look at things. I think it's, if you open up a place in Long Island or New Jersey or in New York City and you have a good product and you have good marketing, but you open up cheap, right?
You open up what? Cheap?
Yeah, like you can't, like everybody orders dinner at the same time.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
when the orders start coming in, it's like, it takes 2 hours, because there's no choice. Because you can only fit 8 pies or 12 pies in the oven at the same time. You know what I mean? Like when people look at ovens, they're like, oh, I can make a pie, 6 pies at a time, 12 pies at a time, 18 pies at a time, every 12 minutes. I'm going to be open from 12 p.m. and then they do the math on that. And it's like, that's the wrong math. The right math would be, how many pies can you do in that oven in a 2-hour period? And that's how much money you're going to make.
Okay.
Period.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah. I'm sure you do because you own a pizzeria.
I just don't.
And like,
Yo,
it's
you know what the
going to be
problem is?
really easy
I
for
think
you to
it's-
walk into a pizzeria and see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think it's late, and I think we're kind of going on different fucking tangents here and there, and we're all over the place.
Are
And
we?
What I wanted,
We
to
gotta end this.
but I love you, man. This
I
was
love
great.
you too, cuz.
This was fucking
Thank
great.
you so much for coming.
I mean, I can't wait to hear it.
Robert Cervoni,
Yeah, Taglio
Talia Pizza,
Follow us on Instagram at Taglio Pizza. at
Long
Rob Cervoni.
Island.
Yeah.
What town was the
Mineola.
town? Mineola.
man.
Mineola.
And if you guys want any
Long Island.
Roman style pizza consulting, hit me up.
Yeah, no, you're obviously the guy to do that.
Yeah. And if you're
I
competing
agree
in
with that.
the if you're competing in the Roman style division in Las Vegas, good luck, because I'm coming with the heat.
Let's go.
I'm not losing this year. I'm telling you that right now. I'm getting.
Let's
scared.
go.
Let's go. Mic drop. Bye.
All right, we gotta go. Bye bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you for tuning in, everybody. Bye bye.
Sweetheart.